something wrong with the people in America. I repeat, something is completely wrong with the people in America. UK out there protesting. You don't see what's taking place out in UK, Switzerland, China, Korea, even certain parts of America, how people are accepting the digital ID system, aka the mark of the beast system.
Câmara de segurança de uma fazenda filma o exato momento que é formado um capetinha rural. Para quem não sabe aí, gente, o capetinha rural é formado aí por pequenos...
Tax fraud. Crazy stuff's happening there.
So there's $18 billion that's been put towards federal funds. $9 billion or more, or reportedly, may have been stolen.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest or creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say a word for y'all. Seek the truth.
I just learned about money. Judge Judy was earning almost $50 million a year at the peak of her success. And the cool story is that every 3 years, she would renegotiate her contract by having a dinner with CBS. But instead of an actual negotiation, she would just bring a sealed envelope with her salary demand and place it on the executive's part of the table. And one year, the executive brought his own envelope. She refused him and said, if I look inside of your envelope, it's a negotiation. And this is not a negotiation. She definitely knew her word. With Grand Theft Auto 6, if it ever comes out, estimating to be about $2 billion to develop, here are a few things cheaper than that. Infinity War and Endgame both combined were $800 million. The second Queen Mary was $900 million. Amazon buying the entire company of Twitch was $970 million. The Golden Gate Bridge cost $1 billion to make. The Mars rover was $1 billion.
This woman freezing up in the parking lot is the whole reason I believe glitches in the Matrix are real. Watch this.
That's actually really concerning.
Everything's moving around behind her. The cars are going. And this lady's just stuck in this position.
Yeah, she frozen, bro.
Oh my god.
This is insane. This lady's not moving. God just walked right there. Nobody seems to notice but these people.
Is nobody noticing this?
You don't even
This
care.
is insane.
No, is no one seeing this? What is going on?
What?
That's crazy.
This is a glitch in the Matrix if I've ever seen one.
Yeah,
This lady definitely got stuck in some kind of time loop in the Matrix. She didn't move for a good solid 40 seconds. Let me know if you've ever experienced anything quite like this. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Stay weird.
I don't know what this is. Excuse me for the people walking through, but this is a guy that's possessed. I'm sitting out here in my car, TikTok friends and family, and I am videoing him. And I've been watching him for a while, but he goes in and out and come back. And yes, I hope you guys can get a good picture of him. But this is possessed. He's possessed. That's crazy.
What exactly does it mean to be possessed? Is it when some other entity walks into your body and takes over? Some people will say, oh, they're high on drugs, but don't drugs allow your vessel to be taken over in the spiritual world? Who can explain exactly what a possession is? Leave it below.
What the hell? Is that a dog?
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Barry, what the? Out!
Oh, no, what the?
Oh. I can't get it. Ah! Barry. Ah!
What they chaining that dog for?
See, go. Oh, that's fine. I take it right. Your dog is.
Nuts. Man, get him off my property. Get him off my property, bro.
Get him out of there, bro.
Oh, and another thing, bro, they don't teach y'all that we can shape, bro. Like, it gets so magical. People be thinking like I'm crazy for real, but everything I'm saying actually is obtainable, it's achievable, and it actually works. Like, you can actually adjust and alter yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually to fit in an environment or space and a place. That's how you quantum leap. Like, what is quantum leap? Go to my YouTube channel, look through my little playlist, and click one of those. Thank me later. But you can actually adjust yourself to the desired reality you want to live. Like, you always changing how you look. You never look the same. I'm never the same. Every time you see me, I've evolved, and I'm always growing. So with that being said, you actually have control to change and alter yourself to fit to the next desired reality you want to go to. The question is, are you being complacent and stagnant? Are you afraid to do that? Like, what's up? Because you can do it.
Something wrong.
Is that like that show Quantum Leap I've seen before, man? When people were jumping into new bodies, new lives. That's like a whole series, man. She said she got a whole playlist, I guess, on YouTube to break it down for us. Should I check that out?
With the people in America. I repeat, something is completely wrong with the people in America. UK out there protesting. You don't see what's taking place out in UK, Switzerland, China, Korea, even certain parts of America, how people are accepting the digital ID system, aka the mark of the beast system. Oh, lean back. You see this? They want everything from you. They want it all. Sean, wrote a clip so they can believe you. Because seeing is believing to a lot of folks. I can't believe I mentioned this 5 years ago and I'm starting to see it right now. And a lot of you are going to take it out of fear. Roll the clip.
Let's see it. They fighting back, protesting. No to that digital ID, man. I ain't getting it.
Give all glory and honor to my Father in heaven, Yahuwah. Thank you for all of your revelational knowledge and your prophecies, and thank you for sending your son. Revelations 13:16 through 18 reads, He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for is the number of a man, his number is 666. Right here in Revelation. You see that? And it's exactly what's going on right now in the world. Family, repent, because the kingdom of heaven is truly at hand. Matthew 3:2. We must repent. I want everybody to have eternal life. I want my soul to be saved and yours too. I'm in the business of saving souls, and that's why I'm on here now. We must repent. I just want to tell you I love you. If you haven't gotten a chance to follow my links below, please do. That's where I'll be at if you don't find me on here. Shalom, and I'll see you in the next video.
Câmara de segurança de uma fazenda filma o exato momento em que é formado um capetinha rural. Para quem não sabe aí, gente, o capetinha rural é formado aí por pequenos redemoinhos aí que aparecem no meio da estrada de terra. Tá vendo aí?
The main reason why Donald Trump wants Greenland because there's an accumulation of intrinsic resources due to the fact it's the crown chakra of planet Earth, which is the head of Turtle Island, that was connected to the Atlantean energy grid system that was also connected to Hyperborea. Now, the European Commission and the Smithsonian, they found critical raw materials that gives an intrinsic power to the Rubus Negra, which is also known as the land of magnets, that leads to an interstellar vortex portal to Hollow Earth. Now, you have to watch the movie Greenland and Greenland Part 2 that comes out today, because it's showing you the science of the end times, which is a form of eschatology. So when you get into the metaphysics of theological context, when you go to Revelation chapter 21, verse 1, it says a new heaven and a new earth by way of the unlocking of the Pleiadian light lock when you go to Job chapter 38, verse 31. Now remember, I was telling you that the Trump administration is playing both sides because the implementation of the republic can only be cultivated during the time of the sun cycle, which is why you cannot have a democracy and a patriarchy during the time of the sun cycle, because that's connected to the Aquarian age, which is the restoration of the matriarch. So that's basically like breaking universal law. Tonight, you have to watch Greenland Part 2 because it's going to give you the metaphysical blueprint of what's going to be taking place in the future. It's showing you the destruction of the Piscean age of darkness as you step into the Aquarian age. It shows you the new heaven and the new earth at the end of the movie. You gotta watch the movie Greenland Part 2. It comes out tonight.
No, I'm not even. Seekers, you watching that, man? I was when we were saying about how Greenland has all these resources, that's I guess why everybody wants it. You know, the stuff been going on with Trump and Greenland. That kind of makes sense, man, because I've always wondered, I'm like, why does Trump want Greenland so bad that, yeah, he like keeps going after it, or he states that he wants it. The resources, that's what it's all comes down to. Tell me down below, Seekers, if you guys watch Greenland Part 2, man, you can give me the summary. I'm gonna check it out myself.
Been willy-nillying you guys right now. The ice storm that's about to happen in the United States, get stacking wood now. Get into the forest and literally get wood, because you may need it to heat on your freaking lean-to. Like, you need to be maybe outside around a fire because your house might be freezing. The ice storm that's coming, look at it. We're talking Texas, ice, snow, freezing cold across all the United States. Canada is supposed to get, look at it. I thought it was just going to be cold. No, there's precipitation involved. The coldest air mass on Earth will be centered over Ontario. This, I don't even know, has this ever happened before? Before we recorded it, perhaps. Not longer than 6,000 years ago, of course, though. But is this freaking crazy or what? This guy's saying you're not going anywhere this weekend if you're in the South. It may bring extended disruption. All three of the main weather models continue to coat much of Texas and the South with hazardous and locally crippling ice totals. This guy's saying you should be getting stocked up on groceries and non-perishables. And I say something that you can heat your freaking house with. They say if you get a clay pot, you put it upside down, and you put some little cinder blocks or something around it, then you put a candle in it, and that alone emits a ton of heat. Well, so does a bajillion pounds of wood. This is why I stacked all freaking summer, dude. I'm a wood chopper. How many woodchucks could have chucked freaking wood? So listen, this is strange, because I don't know about you, but this winter has seemed extremely abnormal. It was like above zero a few weeks ago, and it was minus 15 on December 15th. Okay, before Christmas, we had like February temperatures. So what the Sam Dam's going on? So right now, stock up on diesel, gas, freaking snowmobiling. Got my new snowmobile. I'll tell you guys all about it. It's a freaking beast, man. I'll tell you all about it. Stay tuned. Comment your thoughts. Tell me how your winter is going, because this is weird.
Oh, come on. You
It's
don't
definitely
actually
weird.
believe that we never went to the moon, right? Right? Yeah. No, but I do think that India failed computer design.
Who is here to encourage us, and he is critically looking at the visuals.
Yeah, it's supposed to like show the moon landing, or simulate it or
जी
something.
हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
Anyways, here's my driver. And did you know that the first man to walk on the moon was actually Neil Armstrong's cameraman? Where's his recognition? Anyways, let's hit it.
I never thought about it. Yeah, where is this
At this
recognition?
point, y'all, we are not getting GTA.
Bro, the GTA 6 freaking situation is crazy, bro. Apparently there was an explosion at the headquarters, I guess, man. Is that just a sign, bro, that GTA 6 is never coming out, bro? And I heard, actually, like a couple of weeks ago, I was just looking it up, bro, how they said they're still testing it, man. Like, how it's not even done. At this point, I'm not going to be surprised if they just delay it just so it can come out with the PlayStation 7 and the new Xbox, man. If it doesn't come out this year, bro, I'm calling it. They're not going to release it until, like, the PlayStation 7 comes out, because it makes no sense, man. Keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed, bro. Be hyping this game up, man. It better be worth it, bro. The wait. I guarantee you, man. It's probably gonna generate probably like $1 billion. Because like they said, it costs like $2 billion to make. I guarantee you it's probably gonna make double that back within the release. Like maybe 4 or 6 billion, bro. But this is crazy, man. I think this is just a sign that it's not coming out this year, bro. Like a headquarter explosion, bro. There's never been a more clear side to that, man.
It's over. This can sound crazy all you want, but what if this fire was in an aqua GTA? Y'all, let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments.
Are these giants on this map? You tell me. Take a look at this. Look at the size of the trees here. Look at the size of the people. This is a 1613 map. It's a really pretty map. It's done of, as you can see here, and they did a nice photograph of it, but it has Africa and the Europe areas, but it also has the Americas here, all decked out and really interesting. 1613, all of North America area is all of France. Got the France coat of arms here.
Angels?
People just hanging out. Smaller people see the trees, see the people. And then down in the South Americas, it's all Spanish and Spain. You see there with that big coat of arms there, and then obviously this here. And again, people hanging out below the trees. Not as big, but when you go over here, you have in Africa these people standing above the trees, pointing above them.
Giants, bro.
What did you think of that? I thought that was kind of crazy. If you'd like a link to this map, just hit me up in the comments. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time.
Has almost gone extinct multiple times. We are not special, we are late. The Great Dying was 252 million years ago and is our biggest mass extinction event. Over 90% of life vanished because an insane amount of volcanoes erupted. This made the air poison and the oceans acid. Snowball Earth, the period where the planet froze completely. It was covered in ice from the poles to the equator. Life survived in tiny ponds or pockets of slushy. The oxygen apocalypse, when oxygen used to be toxic. Cyanobacteria flooded the atmosphere with it, and most of life on Earth choked to death. It's formally called the Great Oxidation Event. The Late Devonian extinction. Here the ocean lost oxygen and wiped out almost all marine life. So life moved to land because it was the more logical choice. And from this came the first forests. The dinosaur-killing asteroid released more energy than billions of nuclear bombs. It caused global firestorms, acid rain, and a sun-blocking dust cloud that annihilated 75% of life on Earth. And the Late Ordovician mass extinction. The planet got icy, which dropped sea levels dramatically. Nearly 85% of marine species died because their world literally drained away. Finally, the Triassic-Jurassic extinction. This one was caused by volcanoes. It ripped Pangaea apart, and now we are at the beginning of a new mass extinction called Holocene, except this time it's not volcanoes or asteroids, it's us.
Wow.
Thank you.
How many extinction events did we
That's why
have?
archaeologists are too scared to open the tomb of China's first emperor. Despite discovering this site almost 40 years ago and exploring the majority of it, no one has seen inside the actual tomb for over 2,000 years since the emperor was first sealed inside. Now, the fears to open this tomb come from the writings of an ancient Chinese historian who wrote that the tomb is hooked up to a number of booby traps that were designed to kill anyone who tries to enter. Not only were the craftsmen ordered to make crossbows and arrows primed to shoot any intruders, but even if these fail, archaeologists say that there's another and even more dangerous threat. When the tomb was constructed, they used huge amounts of mercury, which is highly toxic, to simulate entire rivers and set them to flow mechanically. So, due to these concerns, what mysteries lie inside this tomb remain to be sealed and unseen.
You mean people are mad at this guy for taking the $1 million in a Mr. Beast game? So Mr. Beast told this guy if he presses the button and screws his whole team over, that he would win $1 million. And his team was in shock. And this is where it gets even more insaner. Not only did he press the button to win $1 million, and not only is the rest of his team out, which means that there is less competition for the $5 million, which he can still win too. But I'd rather have $1 million and be able to play for 5 or get the respect of my team. And this is where it gets even more sadder. The girl on his team literally berates him and says, "We don't respect you anymore. You can call me selfish all day long, but if I have $1 million in my bank, I don't care about your opinion. I would 100% sacrifice my dignity for $1 million and potentially 5. And this is where it gets even so much more funnier, because the guy that took the $1 million, he posted a tweet saying, "Now that I have my $1 million, I do not regret my decision."
Damn.
If you were offered $1 million by Mr. Beast to screw over your whole team, would you?
You will not believe what they have just found inside the pyramids of Giza. Great. More strange Egyptian stuff going down. What is it this time? You probably remember in 2024 they found a strange anomaly of energy underneath the pyramids. Not sure what that was. And then they used LiDAR technology last year where they discovered something absolutely insane. I'm sure you all remember everybody talking about this. They found what looked like megastructures under the pyramids. They kind of popped it off, but I don't know. Now they're using LiDAR and new types of technology which basically allows them to see through walls, so they must have got their perks equipped. But this time the archaeologists are looking at the smallest pyramid in Giza, and what they've found could be pretty nuts. We know that inside the pyramids not everywhere has been explored. These places were basically built to hide whatever they wanted it to hide. Now inside one of them they found what looks like could be a passageway to essentially a secret chamber that's completely sealed off. Researchers are using the technology to look through the walls and see what's inside, and well, they can see some things in there, but they don't know what it is. So it's looking like they're potentially going to get into this hidden chamber somehow by breaking in the, I don't know if that's even allowed, but they're looking into it, running a lot more tests to see what it could be. So there's going to be a lot more coming. I'll keep you updated.
So that chamber.
Minnesota tax fraud, crazy stuff's happening there.
So there's $18 billion that's been put towards federal funds that supported Minnesota-run programs. $9 billion or more, reportedly, may have been stolen.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
People are saying that work nearby, saying we don't see any kids ever around here. We have no idea. We thought they were closed. Nick Shirley's a 23-year-old YouTuber trying to dig deep, where's this money going? And he shows up, and there's absolutely no evidence that any kids are there.
The director of education or something, she's like, well, that daycare center closed over a week ago. But then the next day, they were interviewing the guy that owns the building, and they had all these kids going into the building. He's like, we were never closed. Our office hours are on the window. It says 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night for a daycare center. It seems like such a front.
The same guy that was doing that interview, someone stopped and said, wait a minute, that's the mayor in Minnesota, and he's dancing and hanging out with the Somalian community. One of the guys behind him is the guy who's speaking for the daycare. That's a weird coincidence, and the state's saying the money is missing. How does that happen? That's $9 billion.
Hold on. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Lunchables and goldfish and stuff?
Yeah. Groceries are expensive.
They're pretty expensive now.
Somebody need to find out if Unc that made tenderism got fired. Because if he did, we cannot let this shit rock. We know for a fact that the man that owned Destination Smokehouse ain't like Unc being the face of his business. We also know that the attention that Unc was getting, he wanted that attention. Unc made the word tenderism. He trademarked the word tenderness. This is why we recently saw him having Unc film him do shit that Unc usually do. Matter of fact, look at this shit.
Look at that. Look at that. And watch this. Even the virus. And the flavor is insane. It's like yesterday, one in the next.
Now we see why when Keith Lee came in, they act like Unc was too busy to see Keith Lee. They act like Unc wasn't there. Keith Lee had a $4,000 tip for Unc, and then you let Unc get that. And then you wonder why. And then to top that off, Boss ain't like the fact that Keith Lee came here to see Unc. Makes a video about Keith Lee. Come on, what kind of shit is that? And now there's rumors going around that Unc got fired. You know, that might be a good thing for Unc. He got a chance to get out of that get out movement. But if Unc did get fired, Destination Smokehouse is going to be Destination Closehouse. I'm out.
Willow AI chip by Google. Joe Rogan talked about this. It's a computer chip. It can travel to different dimensions and process calculations faster just because it doesn't think like the human mind. It's like a quantum computer. Then think ahead. Yes. And they can do calculations faster.
In benchmark tests, Willow solved a standard computation in less than 5 minutes that would take a leading supercomputer over 10 septillion years to solve. Far beyond the age of the universe.
But one thing that you talked about, remember that aliens spotted in the Miami Strip? Yeah. This is crazy. They're saying that theory, the only reason why that happened was because they tested that chip on the same day.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, as the Miami incident. Oh, so they're saying if you can jump dimensions, it just opened a little portal. Other things came into the real world, and that's why they can't explain it. Why do you think it's not covered? Because, Miami didn't know what the hell that is, and it just disappeared right away. Maybe that's because the computer right after closed. That's all that it needed.
So how do you explain this, y'all? This guy notices it was abnormally hot in Kentucky today, y'all. And then he took his phone up to the sky, and then he looked up, and he recorded 3 suns in the sky. It don't make sense, y'all. It's like 2 of them are like bright white, and 1 of them is orange. But this orange one kept on glitching in and out of the sky. It kept on disappearing. Look at this. Hold on, y'all. Check this out.
3 of them.
Somebody please tell me what in the world is going on. That's not a reflection. That's crazy. What is going on?
You guys can clearly see 3 light sources up in the sky, y'all. But I want you to focus on this sorbet orange one. Look at it. So y'all seen that, right? It disappeared, right? And then it's gonna come back and then disappear again. What is going on? Is this what they mean by Project Bluebeam?
Could be.
Oh, of course it's back.
What is going on, y'all? Y'all seen 3-body problem? What is that? Why does this remind me of Naruto? Why does that look like a Rasengan? Why? Y'all look at this. And it's also abnormally warm around the world, not just Kentucky too, y'all. As y'all can see, there are big changes happening on our planet. and it's happening quickly. But let me know what you guys think about this video. The shit is here. Let's.
You were today years old when you found this out. If you're trying to get a splinter out and nothing's working, you can use glue to get it out. You can light birthday candles with spaghetti if it's too hot. You can use dental floss to slice perfect slices of cheese. While going on a trip, pack a couple clothespins to protect your toothbrush from touching a dirty counter. You can relieve the itchiness of a mosquito bite by putting a dab of clear nail polish on it.
Weird facts, okay.
Here are some crazy ocean facts that will blow your mind and will make you question whether you're ever gonna fucking go back in there. For starters, the discovery of monstrosities like this. The colossal squid. It don't look too bad there, Matt. Well, let me tell you that this measures the length of a school bus. This little guy is called a bearded fireworm. Don't be fooled by his cuteness. The thing from this little shit is so painful it makes you feel like your body is on fire while you're in the water. My brain! What kind of creation is that? Nature! You good? There is enough gold in the ocean for every single person on Earth to have 9 pounds of it. I can get my golden toilet. It is estimated that 2/3 of marine life is still to be discovered. With shit like the basking shark existing, what is down there? I'm uncomfortable. Everyone knows about the box jellyfish. You know, the thing that can make you go bye-bye in 2 minutes? Well, because of global warming, they're expected to appear in every beach all around the world. If you didn't know any of these, you have to share. Ian!
Disturbing facts.
Be careful out there.
To know. Did you know that sometimes doctors use teeth of dead people to make dentures? And talking about teeth, there's a fish in South America that has human teeth. And for some reason, it looks so creepy. If you ever see this cute frog, run away as fast as possible. Because it's called a golden poison frog, and it has enough poison to kill 15 humans in a few minutes.
Damn.
Now, we all know a chainsaw is used to cut wood, right? But did you know it was invented to assist childbirth? And finally, there are still around 40 million slaves around the world, with India having the majority of them at 8 million, mostly kids.
That's insane, man. We still at this point in the world where there's still slaves. Come on, man. We have to do better. Basic human rights right there, man. Damn.
Albert Einstein was offered the presidency of Israel in 1952, but he declined. Weird history facts. No one knew about the last one.
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth I was so obsessed with sugar, her teeth started to rot while she was still alive. You can now check if a spyware has infected your phone. To find out, just click on share, slide to the right, and then select more. If you see an unknown app, delete it immediately. The first orange wasn't orange, but green. So why is it called an orange? In ancient Rome, the practice of using urine as a teeth whitener was common due to its ammonia content, which acted as a natural bleaching agent. Now you can check if your phone is real or fake by commenting KSOS with only small letters. If TikTok gives you a warning, your phone is real. Comment if you get a warning. In ancient Egypt, servants were smeared with honey to attract flies away from the pharaoh. Before the last fact, follow us to get smarter.
The further that you look into dark history, you start to realize just how dark it really is.
Talk about it.
This is Lorleen Wallace. She was the first female governor of Alabama, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer. Dark history for Lorleen was that legally, doctors did not have to tell her. They only told her husband. Let that sink in. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, terminal cancer, and only her husband was told. Her husband decided not to tell her. Legally, he didn't have to. It was thought at the time that women's nerves were too fragile to be able to handle news like this, so only their husbands were told. I think we're probably going to cover this on the podcast, because this is actually a pretty in-depth story, if you want to listen. Basically, the way this story ends is that Lorleen, she does become governor. She runs, but she only lives through the first year of her term. She was never initially told she was dying. So, I learned something.
Imagine you getting diagnosed with something, man, and somebody's just like withholding that information with you. And withholding that information from you because they think you're not strong enough to handle it. The laws back in the day, weird seekers. Absolutely weird.
Today, and I desperately need y'all to see this. I was today years old when I found out sea anemone can actually move. Yes, the same thing Nemo lived in, and the same thing SpongeBob accidentally watched while trying to find a sports channel.
I remember that. Whoa.
I know I'm going to get that one comment, so I'm just going to say it. Sea anemone aren't plants, they're animals, and they're actually related to jellyfish. They're predators that feed on plankton, shrimp, and even small fish.
They hunt by acting innocent and lulling their victim into a false sense of security before they snatch their soul and never let go. Basically, get out with more water. Most anemone have stinging tentacles that can clap fish, and some like the Dophilia over here can cause severe pain in humans for months. The reason this one didn't cause a family reunion in the afterlife is because clownfish are covered in mucus that protects them from the sting. Also, clownfish poop provides nutrients for the anemone, so he basically lets them rock. But like, I knew all that, but I didn't know they could move. You can find this video on YouTube, or if you're SpongeBob, on C-Hub. Man said popcorn, but hold the opsy. What a savage.
Here's some things that you've been using wrong your whole life. Number 1, the top of your soda can, which is supposed to be a straw holder. You just have to turn it around and put your straw in the first hole. Okay, second one, I kind of feel like a disgrace to my people because I did not know this. We've all seen Chinese takeout boxes, right? But did you know that you're supposed to unfold them so they become disposable plates? Literally, it makes everything so much easier. But the next one really blew my mind. This is how you're supposed to peel an orange. You just cut the top and the bottom and one slice in the middle, and then it just unwraps perfectly. My mind is honestly blown by this. And now for the last one. If you've ever spilt your cereal, milk, or juice everywhere, that's because you're supposed to hold the carton upside down. This way, not as much liquid pours out all at once, and you won't spill. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a part 2, because there's so many of these life hacks out there.
Okay, so we have a Madeleine McCann update. Trust me, favorite this video right now so you can stay up to date with this story because this is insane! There's a lot to get through, so let's do it. Firstly, her family did actually release a statement in the end, essentially saying that they're really disappointed by this whole situation. And they also claim that photos of her when she was younger do actually exist, along with a birth certificate and hospital discharges. But apparently she took them before all of this started. As well, the family is saying that she doesn't take her medicine regularly and that she always wants to be famous, being a model and a singer. And that now she has over 1 million followers, she's gotten what she wanted. And that they do not want her to do the DNA test. Then, a few days later, this came out on her actual Instagram story. Because she did actually end up doing the DNA test, that she has big news and that there's lots to reveal. But not only are they looking to see if she's Madeleine McCann, but also testing her DNA to see if she is the missing twin, Livia. This is mad.
What?
Kill me, man!
How the hell did she end up being like 2 missing people? Oh, we definitely going to have to get some more updates on that case, man. Because that one, we've seen those clips a couple of times, but that's
Animal facts that will make you sound smarter. The immortal jellyfish is a life cheat code that lets it Benjamin Button itself when times get tough, making it basically, well, immortal. On the opposite side, the mayfly is born with an expiration date of less than 24 hours. Every time the Earth does a 360, an entire generation gets Thanos. There was a shark that put entire nuclear submarines out of commission. And out of all the sharks that could have done it, it was the cookie cutter named after the holes they leave in dolphins, whales, and nuclear warships. The Arctic tern travels from north to south and back to the North Pole every year. In their lives, they'll travel the same distance as 3 round trips to the moon. They also experience 2 summers every year. Sharks can survive massive amounts of radiation, so instead of getting skin cancer, they just get suntanned. Not only are they cancer-proof, they're basically resistant to every disease known to man. Can't say the same about cheetahs because not only do they have one of the weakest immune systems, they're severely inbred, so they're really one pandemic away from getting straight up deleted. Zebras have the N-word pass because their skin's actually black. However, if you shave a tiger, its skin would still be striped. Goldfish can actually memorize things for 5 months. You probably know that parrots can talk, but elephants can be taught to mimic human speech, and one actually learned 5 words in Korean.
These are scary facts about popular childhood movies, part 1. Next up, in the movie The Adventures of Milo and Otis, it's been reported that upwards of 20 cats were killed during the filming of the movie. There's a lot of speculation behind this, because the film somehow got the approval of the American Humane Society, despite not having their officers present during filming.
What the hell? The American Humane Society?
This is Robert the Doll,
deep
one of
into
the most
that
haunted
one.
dolls on the planet. So continuing the story from my last TikTok, the family actually locked Robert in the attic of the house because they were so afraid of him because he was moving and doing creepy shit. Didn't stop him. Apparently in the attic he would move stuff around, bang on walls, frighten the family. And kids walking by the neighborhood passing this house, this is their house, would see Robert sitting right up here in the window staring at them. People think that Robert was haunted because the person that gave it to Jean, this guy right here, put some black magic or voodoo curse on the doll. When Jean died, a new family moved into the house and a daughter in the family was delighted to find Robert in the attic. But she claimed that Robert attacked her. And eventually, because Robert was too scary to keep in the home, he was donated to a museum. You're not supposed to take photos of Robert, and people have supposedly taken photos of him and been cursed. And people who work at the museum have supposedly seen Robert moving around in his case and even tapping on the windows and finding scratches inside of the case. What do you think? Would you visit Robert? I want to go and take a picture and see what happens, but he seems pretty chill.
Hell no, not me. I ain't mess with that bad energy seekers.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. A nice old lady told a CNA that she wanted to wear all white. When asked why, she said the man in black is here. She looked in the corner of the room. The CNA looked, but there was no one there. That's when the nurse came into the room. They asked her to describe what she was seeing, and she said he's in all black, and he's got a top hat on. And then she whispered, and his eyes are red. While her eyes moved across the room to directly behind the CNA, like she was watching him move closer to them. She died later that night, but it was unexpected. That room creeped the nurse and the CNA out for a long time after that.
What do you guys think about that story? I would creep out anybody. We're learning from these clips today, Seekers. Picking up new info every day. Tap in with us. Edit. If y'all see any edits, man, y'all can call them out too.
Was camping in California when their son began to say something very creepy.
A family vacation that took a strange turn. He visited the same area where a missing woman was last seen.
He said that there was a woman staring at him in the field nearby.
Got goosebumps. He said she needs our help, but she's dead. And she's laying face down with her legs up. She can't talk to me, but she's over there. We need to go help her.
Freaked out by this, both of his parents went to go check the surrounding area, but
Okay.
found nothing.
He said she has a black shirt, blue jeans, and blue hair, Mom. He kept saying, trust me, Mom.
After arriving home, Victoria posts about the experience to Facebook, and not long after she does so, the police came knocking at her door with photos of a woman named Sandra Johnson Hughes.
Whoa.
She had gone missing in the exact same location 1 year prior. Authorities would then proceed to exhaust their efforts searching the area over the next few days. Sadly, they would find nothing. If what this little boy was saying was true, experts believe that any evidence of her remains would be long gone by now. Could Caden have actually seen the ghost of this woman, or is his description merely a coincidence? What do you believe?
Black shirt,
Woo.
blue hair. He describes down to blue hair. Said she has a black shirt, blue jeans, and blue hair, Mom.
Hayden was able to identify 3 out of 4 pictures of her. Detectives went back to the meadow with the Gorba family to investigate, but the case remains open.
These are some extreme.
I think he really seen the ghost, because like, how did he like nail exactly what she looked like? And he named 3 out of 4 pictures of her, bro. So he definitely saw something, man. Spirit, ghost, something you can't explain. But he definitely saw something, man.
Extremely unsettling facts, and I've found all of these on Reddit. The Conjuring is one of the most influential horror movies of all time, and actually helped pave the way for a lot of other movies that were to come along in the future. But there was a lot of dark stuff that went on behind the scenes. After they had finished their first day of filming, actress Vera Farmiga had noticed something very off. She had 3 very large claw marks on her body, much larger than any human could have possibly done. And when she was asked about it, she said, "There's no way that I could have left this and not known." And this further adds on to the urban legend of this movie actually being cursed. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the best known horror movies ever, but there's so much more behind this movie that I didn't tell you. Like the fact that the farm that this movie was filmed on actually had around 500 animal corpses underneath it. And where there's corpses, there's going to be a stench. And it got to be so unbearable that it got to the point that whenever the director would yell cut between takes, whether it was an actor, whether it was someone that was working on the crew, would have to sprint off screen and go vomit. And finally, this is one place on Earth you cannot visit. But before I get into that, you guys, I delve into a lot of darker things, so if you want something a little more positive, make sure you go peep my bio. You won't regret it. North Sentinel Island is an island off the coast of India. This place is widely known as one of the places on Earth you cannot visit. This is because the northern Sentinelese people who live there have become very aggressive to all visitors. They've also had very, very, very limited contact with modern civilization as we know it. Even when boats are going by, these people are known to throw spears and shoot bows and arrows at them. But there's a reason behind this. Wow. The people of the northern Sentinel Island were brutalized and abused by colonizers years ago. And this caused them to be very shut off from the rest of the world and be very aggressive towards visitors. And if we're being real, if that happened to you, you would do the same thing. And look, I know these are pretty dark even for me, but that's why.
Hit the nail on the head with the last one. But that's it. You guys think that was foul play?
Your life. Baby chicks, while very sweet, are often grinded up. In many large factories, if they're baby roosters, they're just tossed into a grinder. Pretty gross. Did you know that in the United States alone, every year, around 2,500 people die from using right-handed equipment that were originally left-handed? Sucks to be left-handed. George Bush Sr. was the only man to survive after his plane was shot down in World War II by Japanese soldiers. Out of the 9 men that were cannibalized and eaten on by Japanese soldiers, Bush was somehow the only one to survive. Hopefully you like boogers, because Inuit mothers actually suck the snot out of their baby's nose. Nasty. Did you know there's actually 200 corpses right now on Mount Everest? Due to the body's elevation, they're actually left up there and perfectly preserved to the extreme climate and temperatures. They're used as guide points for climbers and hikers. Comment and let me know which fact disturbed you the most.
I think the fact that people use on Mount Everest, man, they know that there's corpses and all that stuff around. There hasn't been, like, I guess, any attempts to take them off the mountain. They just use them as marker places. That's seriously messed up. They need to take those corpses down, man. Those families deserve that. The more you know, man. That's it.
This is the truth about the 4 ghosts in Pac-Man.
Talk about it.
Okay, so the 4 ghosts in Pac-Man are actually programmed to act differently. The red ghost chases you the entire game and doesn't stop following you. The pink one just tries to position itself in a set way to block you off, so that the other 3 ghosts can catch you. Next up, the blue one just tries to ambush you in every single way it can, and is definitely the most aggressive one out of the 4. And next up, the orange one is random. It could either chase you the entire game, ambush you, or just sit in one spot and position itself. So, next time you play Pac-Man, keep this video in mind.
It's a little cheat code. If you know what the ghost
Let's talk about a disturbing upcoming horror game where you have to get rid of a princess instead of save her. Slay the Princess. And this one looks horrifying. Just like the title says, this is a narrative-based game where you have to slay a princess. And of course, this is not an ordinary princess. She's hiding a very dangerous and dark secret. Just make sure you don't listen to her when she tries to convince you not to get rid of her. The game promises to have many different branching paths involving the princess turning into all sorts of different horrific things. Will you save her just to see what happens, or will you wait around and see what her true form is? There's a free demo of the game out right now on Steam, and this is easily looking like one of 2023's coolest horror games. And of course, I'll be covering it when it releases.
Since it's already out, are you guys gonna check that out, Seekers?
This is a story that shows you how real death can be. In Islam, when a baby is born, God gives the baby a name, a written life story, and a date of death. And on the day of death, nothing and no one will stop the angel of death. This is a story of a Lebanese family, a mother and her teenage son. The son and his friends planned a trip after their high school graduation to celebrate. They were planning to fly to another country. He told his mom about this plan, but she was very scared for him. He was her only son. She felt like he was still too young to travel on his own with his friends. She begged him for weeks. She begged him not to go, but he insisted. The night before his morning trip, the son packs his bags and is ready to meet his friends at the airport the next morning. The alarm doesn't usually wake this boy up. He always relies on his mom to wake him up. So he asked her to wake him up at a certain time before the flight. The mother's heart had a wrong feeling about this. She decided not to wake him up. She wanted him to be late and miss this flight. His friends gave up waiting for him, and they eventually took that flight.
Okay.
The plane crashes only minutes after takeoff from a technical failure. She immediately sees the news that the plane her son was meant to take crashes, and there are no survivors. She finally runs to his room to wake him up and show him the news. But her son was already dead. He had a stroke in bed the same morning. Whether he took that flight or not, he was meant to die on this day. One piece of advice: when your mother has a wrong feeling about something, listen to her.
10 facts you didn't know that could save your life. If your house ever smells like fish for no reason, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's an electrical fire. If you're in a foreign country and you need to call for help, but you don't know the emergency number, call 112 and it'll automatically connect you to the nearest helpline. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, it's actually moving towards you. If you ever wake up to the smell of gas, don't turn on a light. The spark from the light switch could blow up your entire house. Lying flat on your back is the best way to survive a falling elevator. If your hair ever stands up, duck and cover because you're about to be struck by lightning. If you ever fall off the edge onto the tracks, don't try and crawl back up. There's a crawl space built to go underneath in case this happens. If a deer runs across the road, it's better to hit it than swerve into the ditch. But if it's a moose, then it's better to swerve into the ditch. Because hitting a moose is like hitting a brick wall. Even if you have no service, you can still dial 911. In an emergency, your phone will connect to the nearest tower. If you ever get kidnapped into the back of a vehicle, disconnect the brake light wires so the cops will pull them over. Then kick on the door to let them know that you're there.
Under a microscope, it looked just like crystals. When you put tears under a microscope, this is what tears and grief look like. Tears of timeless reunions, tears of laughing and crying, tears of release. This is more images of what tears look like under a microscope. Remember, water has memory, so every time you release some of your tears, you're releasing some of your memories. If you ever start crying and tears fall from your right eye first, that means happiness. If tears fall from your left eye first, that means tears of sadness. If tears fall from your eye at the same exact time, that means your body is doing a natural detox. Every time someone speaks about a detox, they speak about herbs, plants, and fasting. Did you know that crying is the greatest detox you can do? The image you are looking at right now in the background is tears when you cry at the same exact time. You ever ask yourself why they always say men shouldn't cry? They said if a man cries, it makes him weak, but it's really the opposite. When a man cries, it recharges his whole physical body to get more strength. So next time you want to do a natural detox, go outside while it's raining and start crying and watch how your body recharge.
I swear. Okay. I didn't know crying was a detox. It's crazy, man, how each different emotion brothers, they look different under the microscope. We learning.
Thank God I'm at the Asian market. Look, I ain't never seen no motherfucking black chicken. The fuck out of here. What? What? The fuck? Oh shit.
Today marks 10 years that my sister has been gone. I have told this story before on Facebook. A couple of years ago, I told this story on TikTok. And I'm just trying to spread awareness. So TikTok, please understand this is for educational purposes only. My sister was unalived by her husband using witchcraft, black magic, root is what we call it in the South, because he didn't want her to be successful. He was very jealous of her and he didn't want her to succeed. It is a long story, but I just wanted to put it out there that I will be telling the story again. I just need to get through this day. What y'all need to understand is this shit's real and that it could happen to anybody. So let me get through this day, and I will post part 1 probably tonight or tomorrow. And this time I'm gonna go in a bit more detail about what happened, why we caught it so late, and just try to understand that this could happen to anybody. She was beautiful, she was smart, she had children, she was talented, she had a lot going for herself. And when you are a powerful woman, and you come across a needy man, stay tuned for part 1. I just need to get through this day and then I will put up part 1.
Sounds scary. I don't know what he
I
did.
knew exactly who will be playing in this year's Super Bowl just by looking at the logo. The NFL really thought the neon colors would throw us off. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, basically every year the NFL releases their Super Bowl logo, and for the past few years, the 2 primary colors that are in the logo have also been the primary colors of the teams that end up playing in the Super Bowl. And you're trying to tell me this isn't scripted? Anyway, back to this year. Let me show you what this looks like with the saturation turned down. We go from pink and lime green to our primary colors being purple and blue. If you're thinking, hey, what about the red right there? The game is in San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge is red. So do not even try to tell me that that little bit of red means the Chiefs are going to be in this year's Super Bowl, because I cannot handle that. There's also a shocking amount of green on this logo, but that'll all make sense when I tell you what teams these are. The blue is obvious. It's the Lions, whose primary colors are really just blue. And the purple is even more obvious. It's the Ravens. And here's where that green starts to make sense. The Ravens' main color is not just purple, it's also gold. And gold is really just yellow. But the Lions don't have another color, so they kind of just rock with blue. And what happens to blue when it's mixed with gold or yellow? It turns green. So nice try, NFL, but the script has officially been leaked again. Lions-Ravens Super Bowl 2026.
There's some crazy... If that's true, we're coming back to this video. Called it Lions-Ravens 2026.
Things happening in the world right now. A man in Michigan, known for his generosity in his community, made one final gesture to thank his community by literally making it rain cash from a helicopter at his own funeral using his life savings. He was a beloved car wash owner in East Detroit, and he died from Alzheimer's at 58 years old. Sounds like a great guy. We can now help the US government pay down its debt using Venmo and PayPal. Yippee! A Florida man was arrested for drunk driving a lawnmower down a highway. McDonald's had an AI hiring tool that's password was 123456, which someone apparently guessed and exposed the data of 64 million applicants to McDonald's. And everyone is welcome classroom sign is violating a new Idaho law. The law says that you're not allowed to put up political statements as signs in classrooms. I guess, okay. A teacher was banned recently in Wales for drinking alcohol, swearing at other teachers, and dancing to the Macarena while under the influence of alcohol. Obviously, or not obviously, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to dance to the Macarena, I guess.
I want y'all to go look up how many black truck drivers go missing. If you have a truck driver in your family, you need to send them as many videos as you can, because the stories are here on TikTok. Let me tell y'all what's going on. They had a black man, 38 years old. He talked to his wife at 3:45 that morning. When he talked to his wife at 3:45 that morning, he told his wife he was getting down, off the interstate to go get some coffee. She never talked back to him ever again. I think his wallet and I believe the truck was found or something like that. But she haven't heard from her husband at all. So who has snatched this man? Where's this man? You think he just up and just left it and just, come on, bro? What's really going on? But I want y'all to go and look up truck drivers, black truck drivers that has went missing. You'll be surprised the stories that's out there. Though it's just not safe. And I know me and my husband has traveled, and we done got down on it in these little towns to stop to get gas, and it just don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So sundown towns are real, guys. I actually talked to my nephew because he's a truck driver, and he told me he walked in a store, and he said, Auntie, everything just got quiet. So basically he knew he wasn't, he wasn't comfortable, or he wasn't supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew the people had a problem of him being there. Talk with your loved ones, okay? And guys, share this man's story. I'm going to hashtag his name, okay? I'm praying for his family. Hugs and love. If you are a black truck driver, please be careful. Again, hugs and love. Y'all be blessed, J-Lo.
Thanks for the warning. Is he looking for his keys in his mouth? Oh yeah, he's cooked. I don't know what he on, bro. I don't know what was going through his mind.
Putting in our food. Watch this. This is insane. There's no way Sweet Tea does this.
Like Jello.
No way. Stay weird, y'all. That's goop. None of these places are safe to eat at anymore. Can anyone explain why this happens? As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
I just watched a video of that girl saying that everything's been so crazy because there's a time traveler who keeps going back to 2020 to try to fix things, make shit right, but he keeps fucking it up. Listen, I know y'all think I believe everything, but here's why I believe that. Because y'all don't remember this time last year, or maybe a year and a half ago, that time traveler that was caught at the Airbnb in that shed on that guy with the Airbnb host Ring camera. Bro, whatever you believe, okay? He went in, he was in his 20s, he came out, he was in his 50s, 60s. We never seen him again. You gotta be kidding. He's still out here. He's still out here. It was the same guy. The same shaped forehead, the same glasses. He looked at the camera. It's the same guy. He's still out here trying to make changes. That's where we're getting all these Mandela effects from. Didn't they look him up too, and they found his name, and they found that he was involved in like quantum physics and astrophysics?
Wow.
You can't make it up. That's him. He's still out here.
Our sensory systems were not shaped to show us the truth. They were shaped to keep you alive long enough to reproduce successfully. Darwin's theory says the probability is zero that any sensory system, like eyes, ears, smell, touch, taste, has ever been shaped to see any aspect of objective reality truly. What you do experience is sensory systems that guide adaptive behavior.
So your eyes, your nose...
They guide you so that you act in ways that you don't die too quickly.
Okay.
And you can have kids that don't die too quickly. That's all it's about.
If you just imagine, like, wipe off everyone on the earth and it's just you, and we remove all of your senses, what is in that space? Because you're right, my senses, my eyes, my ears, my ability to understand temperature is a byproduct and consequence of me surviving. If we think about ghosts and the afterlife, maybe there was no reason from a survival perspective that I even needed to be able to see or acknowledge them. Maybe it just didn't help. So anybody that could process all that information wouldn't have been good at reproducing, therefore they wouldn't be here. So maybe those of us that are here were just really good at ignoring the other dimensions.
That's what our mathematics says. I think that your intuitions on that are quite right. If you pay attention to anything other than what allows you to have kids, you're wasting your time from an evolutionary point of view.
Oh, what is that?
What the hell is that?
This is a telescope, and I don't know what this looks like. Bacteria or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's so gross. Oh wow, you got it.
4K.
I don't know, y'all. This is kind of creepy.
Very creepy.
If you're trying to reduce your exposure to microplastics, you might have to stop breathing.
New research just confirmed microplastics aren't just in our food and water. We're inhaling them, and at a rate 100 times higher than previously estimated. We can't see them, but they're there. The good news? You can take small steps that actually help. Dust regularly, open your windows, and rethink the synthetic stuff you use every day.
NASA works for the devil, and they found him in the bottom of the ocean in the 60s. So they've been trying to cover up the Sealab 3 project for quite some time. Sealab 3 was this mission where the Navy and NASA partnered up to see the bottom of the ocean to test certain things. But what they were doing was certain types of research. In short, they were trying to get in contact with the devil. Well, at least NASA was. Now, whenever they got to the bottom of the ocean, things got really weird. And there is multiple reports of sabotage. Any of the Navy members that discovered anything for some reason ended up missing. Now, the more fascinating thing about this is one of the supposed astronauts that supposedly went to space, Scott Carpenter, was down there the entire time. Now, they tried so hard to stop the information from coming out that even whenever they did a 2-week decompression period, even that was getting sabotaged. This is all public information too. Please fact check me if you don't believe me. The ocean is the house of the Dajjal or Antichrist, and it is also the house of the devil. There is multiple biblical texts that talk about this. The Quran, the Bible, the Torah all mention about how these sinners or evil people at some point in time throughout all of these stories were going to be sent to the abyss. Now the word abyss means the deepest dark part of the ocean. It comes from the Greek word abyssos, Everything that NASA says is a lie. They are working directly with the devil.
The seismographs at Yellowstone have been down for almost 2 weeks now. People are starting to feel a chill in the air as these seismographs at Yellowstone National Park and the University of Utah, which monitors the Yellowstone supervolcano, have been down. No one has an idea as to why both of them have been down at the same time. However, typically they will let us know when they're about to do maintenance so as to not frighten people. This time that did not happen and they have just been down without a reason. This is directly after this seismograph was recorded at Yellowstone. And as all of this is going on, a man on TikTok is posting videos of the ground shaking. This man lives on a ranch near the Yellowstone National Park. In one of these videos, he has a water bottle on the ground, and as he's recording, you can see several small fissures pop up. And then a bit into the video, the water bottle falls over. And this person has posted many videos of the ground shaking to such an extreme degree that it sounds like water is boiling underneath the surface of the crust.
So we got a freaking super volcano about to go off in the Yellowstone. We see the bison leaving, fleeing. That seismograph was looking scary.
Is scared he will never die. Ismail Azizi from Tanzania has reportedly been declared medically dead by doctors on 6 separate occasions, but has come back to life every single time, and no one can explain how. In a recent documentary by Aframax, they report that the first time he died was after a workplace accident. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and soon after, doctors declared him dead, not some randoms off the street. His body was taken to the morgue while his family started preparing his funeral. But to their bewilderment, he regained consciousness and walked out of the morgue onto the street like he was taking a nap. And that was only round 1. He died again after catching malaria, but this time he made it all the way to the coffin before yet again waking up at his own funeral. Now this became a literal cycle for years. Death 3 was after a car accident where he collided with a fuel tank and put him in a coma. But like clockwork at this point, after being pronounced dead by medical professionals again, he woke up. And at this point, even the doctors were getting freaked out. Death 4 was after he got bit by a venomous snake, but this time he spent a whopping 3 days in the morgue. And that really convinced his family that Ishmael was gone for good this time. But no, because when they went to go retrieve his body for his 4th funeral, he woke up again. Now after his 5th death, he fell into a toilet pit. His community started getting a little scared, and they became convinced beyond reasonable doubt that he was a witch or a ghost. So you know what they decided to do? Burn his house down with him inside to try and kill him for the 6th and final time. And guess what? They were successful until he woke up again. Bro, I'd be scared too. I couldn't die. And now, after all of this, he has to live in an isolated old house with no neighbors, because apparently he's a bit of a local legend and people are too scared to live near him. He also said he can't get a job either as a result of the stigma. Bro, one meeting with JD Vance, cooking for sure.
Why is nobody talking about this? China is back on a lockdown. Just the other day, over 7,000 people was affected with something called the chikungunya virus, a mosquito-borne illness that causes joint pain, fever, fatigue, and in some cases, paralysis. But here's where it gets weird. They're spraying the cities, they're deploying drones everywhere, scanning every rooftop, and if you got standing water and you're not dumping it, they're finding you up to $1,000. I'm even hearing they're cutting people power. Mosquito nets, quarantines. They treating this shit like a biohazard. They're releasing modified mosquitoes. Like that's gonna help or some shit. I feel like that's gonna make it even worse. Y'all know who started the genetically modified mosquitoes, right? Let me know in the comments. And as of right now, the CDC just issued a travel warning. So if you're traveling to China, they advise you not to, unless you really got to. And I don't see a reason why you would really have to go there when something like this is going. Now this. I got some questions. If this was just a regular bug virus, why the lockdown? Why the surveillance drones? And why the severe emergency level response? Maybe this ain't just a virus, y'all. Climate change is making these viruses spread even faster. Y'all never noticed that? And governments already know what's happening. They running drills while a lot of other people still trying to figure out what's going on. But I be hit. You ever wonder what else they know that we don't?
The guy who was caught throwing toys on the WNBA court has finally told us why he did it. And yes, they have finally caught the green toy machine. His name is Caden Lopez, and he is already facing charges of disorderly conduct and ASSULT after his most recentest throw seemed to hit Sophie Cunningham in the leg. Then Kelsey Plum kicked it off the court, and this is where it gets more worser. A lot of people were saying that he was going for Sophie Cunningham specifically after Sophie literally said, "Stop throwing toys on the court, you're going to hurt one of us." Now the WNBA has implemented a no-bag policy for games. And even though a lot of people think that this is super funny, a lot of people are super angry that this is happening. And this is where it gets even more insaner. So the 3 toys that have been thrown have been over the past week in 3 different cities across the United States. The first one in Georgia, the second one in the state of Chicago, and the third one where he got caught in Los Angeles. And people were wondering if it was the same guy all 3 times, as well as how did he sneak them in? Well, it turns out that he snuck in the green toys on his person, which is the most disgustingest thing I've ever heard. He was doing this just because it's funny. Should he be free?
I don't know. I don't think so,
though. Seriously? What the hell? It's that hot here?
It's melting everything.
看到感觉是干嘛呢？我的乖呀，感觉。
What the hell is that? Is that hot?
Want to know how hot it is in Australia? This hasn't been switched on. It's just been baking in the Aussie sun. Just goes to show.
God dang. I don't know how people can live in that heat.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 18. A man from Queens once spent 5 months in jail completely unaware that his bail was just $2. Since spiders molt, when you see what you might think is a dead spider, it could just be that the spider left behind its exoskeleton and is now bigger than before. Almost everyone on Earth is walking around with a bunch of poop inside of them. Scientists accidentally killed the world's oldest living animal, which was a clam that lived to be 507 years old. Statistically speaking, at least one person who comments on this video will not be alive tomorrow. The real reason you shouldn't eat raw cookie dough isn't because of getting sick from eating raw eggs. It's because you shouldn't eat raw flour, which contains fecal matter from all the birds flying over the field and pooping on the wheat.
These are 8
Stay away from
facts
cookie dough.
that will probably keep you up at night. Sometimes you laugh, talk, and cry in sleep. It's often a spirit sitting beside you in bed. You are more likely to be bitten by someone in New York than to be bitten by a shark. A human head remains conscious for 20 seconds after being decapitated. If you search up this number on Google, you'll find people with their heads in fridges. Gelatin is made out of bones. That's right. The melted marshmallow in your hot chocolate is melted animal bone. It's good stuff. You have no way of really knowing if everyone experiences reality and consciousness the same way you do. If a panda finds a fresh carcass, they'll eat it. And last but not least, your phone is likely spying on you right now as you're watching this. Yeah, there's a lot more. Like for part 8.
Turn off that camera on your phone, bro. It's watching your every move.
What was the Russian sleep experiment? The Russian sleep experiment is where they took 5 prisoners of war and kept them captive in a room for 30 days without sleep. The whole goal of this whole experiment was to see what would happen to the human body and mind without sleeping for 30 days. Kind of like a sleep deprivation experiment. And I'm gonna be honest, the way they were keeping them awake was absolutely insane. Not only having oxygen constantly pumped throughout that room, kind of like a casino, because obviously there was no windows because they didn't want them to know what time of day it was. Sort of, as I said, like a casino where they pump oxygen in, you have no idea what time it is, and you kind of always feel awake. But the other way they were keeping them awake was by pinning them with amphetamines to ensure them staying awake. Now obviously the experiment did not go as planned. with some of them just being unalived just due to the fact of being up for too long. Others screaming so loud that their vocal cords actually ripped out, causing them to be unalived. Now back in 2018, we were supposed to be getting a full feature-length film, a real adaptation of this creepypasta into a movie. Now there are some pretty good short films on YouTube depicting this whole entire story, but we were supposed to get a feature-length film a couple years ago. Now obviously this is a creepypasta, so comment down below what creepypasta I should cover next.
What happened to the film?
Facts That'll Make You Smile, Part 8. Seahorses will get married and perform daily bonding rituals with their other half. When your dog puts its paw on you when you're petting them, that means that they're petting you back. Cats don't meow to other adult cats, so if one meows at you, that means it's making an effort to communicate with you. Rats can learn how to play hide and seek, and they will squeak with joy when they win.
Sometimes in movies, when dogs have to look very mean and threatening, they actually have to redo their tails with CGI because they won't stop wagging because they're doing such a good job acting. When bees run into each other, they actually make like a little whoop sound. Fish are actually able to recognize their owners. There's this weird misconception with people that they think that fish can't see out of the glass of their aquarium, but they actually have surprisingly good eyesight.
Really?
Animal facts that'll blow your mind right out of your head. Contrary to popular belief, tigers aren't always solo hunters. They hunt in packs a lot, and a pack of tigers is called an ambush, as you can see why. Flamingos are naturally gray. That's their natural color, but they turn pink because of their diet of seafood. The black-footed cat is the most dominant hunter on the planet, despite standing 6 inches tall. There's a crocodile named Gustav that's believed to have killed over 300 people, and he's still out there. Oh, and I guess crocodiles got a new update, and apparently they can climb trees now? The chicken is closer related to the T-Rex than it is any other bird on the planet. There is not one report of an orca ever attacking a human in the wild. Dolphins like to get intoxicated, and they do it by passing around a pufferfish and using its venom. The biggest threat to a porcupine's life is themselves. They like to climb trees, and sometimes they fall and pierce all their quills right through themselves. Under all that fur, polar bears have black skin. It looks like a chupacabra. And the best fact of all, in 2022, the panda status changed from endangered to vulnerable. Go panda.
This is how you spot a skinwalker. On May 6th of 2020, a YouTube channel by the name Gemini Home Entertainment uploaded a survival video. And it was pretty basic, until it started to demonstrate the dangers of nature, calling one specifically an auditory hallucination. You can see someone camping, when all of a sudden they begin recording what seems like a man calling out for help. But if you take a closer look, there's definitely something off about this guy.
Yelling help. Ooh, like a robot. I'm gone. Deuces. Sorry.
To this, the video says, don't approach it. If you hear them, they have already heard you.
Yeah, I'm out. You ain't catching me.
I put the semen in a saran wrap every day, like 5 times a day, for like a month straight.
He would kind of like roll it up, almost like a cigarette, and he would attach it to the line that we had in the vent, and I would pull it through.
This story sounds so made up, but I promise you it's not. These 2 inmates who have never met each other before were able to conceive a baby through a prison cell air conditioning vent. While Daisy was incarcerated, she began doing what many other inmates do while spending long hours in their cells, and that's communicating with other inmates through the air conditioning vents. Juwan and Daisy began passing photos and notes to each other, and it wasn't long until they began their romantic relationship, all while never seeing each other in person. Juwan told Daisy that he really wanted to have a baby, but he knew that he couldn't do that anytime soon because he was most likely going to be in prison for a long time. He then told Daisy that if he could choose anyone to have a baby with, it would be her. And Daisy, who was so in love with this man, told him that, well, it could be done. Together, they both went about coming up with this crazy plan. This is where things get interesting. Juwan began putting his fluids in saran wrap and rolled it up kind of like a cigarette, and he did this every single day, 5 times a day for about a month. He would then send his fluids wrapped up, attached to a bed sheet that they both made together through the vent. And this isn't even the craziest part, because when Daisy received Juwan's fluids, she transferred it over into into a yeast infection applicator. Daisy administered these fluids inside of her daily until she got pregnant.
These are 3 of the most
That's
disturbing
insane.
sexual reconstructions I have ever found online. This is number 1. She was found on the 25th of November, 1993, just 30 feet off of a main road. The road was Vance Neck Road, which I believe is in Delaware, but what really freaks me out about this reconstruction is that it's so lifelike. Even so, no one has ever identified her. They don't even know what happened to her. Second one is a John Doe of an unknown child. Originally when he was found, he was so far decomposed they actually couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl's body they were looking at. And what kind of unnerved me about it is that nobody claimed him. There was never anybody in this area who claimed they had a missing child or knew of a missing child, so where did he come from? And the final reconstruction is who they refer to as Maria. She was a Jane Doe found in 1952 by a hunter, and she had most likely been burned alive. Clay reconstruction of her is of course not the best, but it really didn't do much good in helping anyone to find her because it's been 70 years and she is still an unknown woman.
This is a weird fact, you know. Everyone starts out as a female. See, fellas, when you're in the womb, your Y chromosome doesn't show up until 5 to 6 weeks later. So you really don't become a dude until 5 to 6 weeks in your mama's belly. Why do you think we have titties that we never used? So yeah, I hope you have fun knowing that you were a girl once.
Mind blown to think about, man. We all start off as females in the womb. Then the change gradually happens. We all the same.
Teachers have been hiding this website for years, and I'm finally going to tell you what it is. This is Phrasely.ai. This is the only website that fools AI detectors by turning an AI-generated essay into a completely human essay. First, visit their website and type in any sort of essay that you have. You can even use their website to generate you one as well. Once you have the essay pasted, you can look at this little blue button down at the bottom called Humanize, and it will automatically turn your AI-generated essay into a completely human version. Here's the best part. Once you've humanized the essay, you can see at the very bottom it's automatically checked with other third-party websites to ensure that it's completely AI-free and completely plagiarism-free. This is a major game changer, and if I was still in high school, I probably would have used this every single day.
I received a notification that someone was in his backyard. When he sees this, a man from Argentina woke up one morning to an unusual amount of notifications from his backyard's camera. As he looked over the footage, this ominous-looking figure dressed in long white robes can be seen staring at him.
That looks like somebody in a costume. He confronted?
The man believes this entity followed him back home after he tried communicating with spirits at a nearby gravesite. After this entity manifested itself, he explains that many of the neighboring dogs began to weep as if they felt its presence. Could this really be something as sinister as La Llorona captured on camera? Or is this all just an elaborate ruse? I'll let you decide.
There's some dark stuff going on around the world that the public definitely doesn't know about. Up first, humanity has wiped out 60% of the animal population since 1970. Just think about that for a second. 60% of all animal population has been wiped out. This is absolutely crazy, and we use all of these resources for food and clothes and just stuff like that. But when you hear that we killed 60% of the animal population, it kind of makes you think, right? Next up, we all know the mega city that Saudi Arabia is building called Neom. But did you know Saudi Arabia is sentencing people to death who refuse to move out of their homes so they could actually build the mega city Neom? And their relatives are being sentenced to multiple decades of prison time just for protesting and posting their support to the cause on social media. This is absolutely sickening, and I can't believe nobody is talking about this. This next one is going to keep us all up at night. But bacterial resistance to antibiotics is at an alarming level. There has already been instances of pan-antibiotic resistant strains of bacteria. This can throw us back to the pre-antibiotic era, which will effectively mean if you catch an infection, you will die. Just like in the 1400s. Finally, women are going missing from Indian reservations across some of the United States. Many are young women and are probably being used for sex trafficking. I wonder why they're taking Indian women from Indian reservations and
And I wonder why sick stuff happens like this on Earth every single day.
Check out
Makes
the
no
terrifying
sense,
moment
man.
a man found the back rooms in real life. This is crazy.
I have no idea where the hell I am. This place is so creepy.
All that empty space. He's definitely in the back rooms.
I'm so glad I didn't bring Jacob or Tommy. This place is just, too weird.
Those chairs? All that open space.
I'm getting out of here.
Oh, those are computers. Okay. We got movement. Went up.
What the heck was that?
Why is
Oh,
no one
crap.
talking about this mannequin and its creepy backstory? This is La Pascualita. The mannequin has been in the window of this Mexican bridal shop since the 1930s. Now look, mannequins weren't even that detailed back then. Customers noticed that you could see fingernails, eyebrow hairs, and veins on the mannequin. By the way, we're making a Reese's milkshake. Out of all three of these flavor ice creams, which one has to go? Vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry? Comment down below. I want to see if y'all got good taste or not. Now,
Strawberry.
back to the story.
Not your chocolate.
This is where it gets crazy. The owner of the shop had a daughter named Pascuala. And in the 1930s, she was going to get married. So, of course, being the owner of a bridal shop, the owner went all out for her daughter, buying her the best dress and setting up everything. Sadly, a scorpion had gotten the daughter's dress, and she sadly didn't survive the sting. People say the exact next day a mannequin appeared at the front of the shop, and she looked strangely similar to the daughter. Even the dress looked similar. Aw, snap. Look at that. Little sweet baby diabetes. They believe the owner did not want to lose her daughter, so she dipped her in wax to preserve her forever. Do you think this is the shop owner's daughter? And make sure to hit that follow, because tomorrow's story is insane compared to this one.
There were some similarities. Weirder things have happened, man. People
The only
don't know
thing
how to let
scarier
go.
than the Ouija board is how the Ouija board was made. After the Civil War, over 620,000 people died. That's a lot of people. All of these families wanted to communicate with their passed away loved ones, and they decided they needed to figure out a way to do that. So this woman named Helen Peters. Helen Peters created the Ouija board, and she was playing with the board when she asked it, "What does your name want to be?" where the Ouija board spelled out the word Ouija. Well, a few years later, a man comes around and tells Helen Peters that he's willing to buy the entire patent from her. He agrees, but she tells him to be careful. One day the man is on a 3-story building where he falls off and he grabs the window seal with his fingers. The window seal shuts down and breaks his fingers, and he falls all the way to the bottom. He's still alive. The people go, they pick him up, and they put him in the car, and they're transporting him over to get to the nearest hospital. While the car is driving, they hit a bump in the road, and one of his broken ribs pierced his heart. One of Helen Peters' last ever words before she passed away was to be careful of the Ouija board because it lies. Now Hasbro Games basically owns the entire thing, and they sell it inside of kids' stores. This video blows up enough, I'll go buy a real Ouija board and we'll see if it's real. I can follow. It's because of the most...
I don't know how people click those Ouija boards. I never even took the chance, man. And the fact that they sell them in the kids section of the toy stores, I don't think they should be selling that there. That ain't no kid toy, bro. Some dark history behind that. I do not mess with those Ouija boards at all.
Athletically disrespectful creatures on Earth. There's no situation where a cat needs to be doing any of that. You see, leopards had a problem. I'm sorry, Zebby, it's too catchy. They live in Africa, but they don't weaponize the power of friendship like lions or hyenas, or a clan of Cujos, or even Baboon Mafia. Being a solo dolo hunter, well,
You see how that goes for cheetahs. They literally have anxiety, but leopards have something cheetahs don't. Two things, actually. They're the best climbers of any cat, and pound for pound, they're the strongest, and these are cats we're talking about. They're plenty OP already. Basically, you got Teen Titans Robin in the form of a weaponized panther. Huh, that is a rhino. Yeah, that is a giraffe. And being able to climb means they can dodge the same smoke that gets cheetahs cooked. So not only do leopards have the longest grocery list of a big cat with like 90-something animals, they have the widest range of any too. But they're also crafty enough to live right next to people. They will pull up to your front door in some places. And because leopards can and will murk anything, in some places they realize that pet dogs are easy calories. I can't show you this video, but by the grace of God and plot armor, the dog made it. Also, hot take, the most dangerous predator is a predator with predators. And since leopards get got by lions and tigers too, they're much more likely to be on site with people if they feel threatened. So yeah, leopards are a flex and my second favorite big cat. What's the first? The more you know.
This is why you always
flexing out there.
Will from Will Whereabouts was camping in the middle of the woods in Box Hill, UK, when suddenly, late at night, he's awoken by what sounds like human voices.
I don't think I'm going to be getting much sleep tonight.
Will explains he was all alone in that site, so what exactly made those sounds?
I don't know, man. Camping alone? I ain't doing that.
Jean Dulac and his evil doll. So in the early 1900s, Jean Dulac was one of the most famous ventriloquists in all of vaudeville. His doll not only looked like it was speaking on its own, but it appeared to move on its own and also had a voice completely different from Jean's. This confused a lot of his fans, but they mostly chalked it up to his talent. But others felt there was something slightly sinister about the doll. Reports that the doll was sometimes caught speaking even when it wasn't on Jean's hand. Missy Waters, a vaudevillian dancer and Jean's lover, claimed that one night she walked into Jean's room to find the doll off of his hand and Jean on the other side of the room curled up in a ball crying. She said a voice was coming from the doll speaking Latin, and it clearly was not Jean. The more Jean used the doll, the sicker he got too, and within a few years of his success, he was on his deathbed. And apparently, right before he died, he asked to make a call to Missy. According to her, on that phone call, Jean said it was the devil inside of the doll. He said that he had bought the doll off a man traveling through town with the understanding that if he let the devil live inside the doll, he would have all the fame and fortune he desired. His last words were, "Do not let anyone have this doll after I die." The whereabouts of the doll are currently unknown.
Sold her soul for freaking fame and fortune? We heard that before.
Killer whales go through menopause and it makes them the best grandmothers in the ocean. So orcas can live for 50, 60, some even reach 80 years, but the female will stop being able to have kids at around 30 to 40. Normally shutting down the baby factory that early would be bad, but the female orcas that can't have kids anymore will then focus on raising their kids' kids. These grandmother orcas will leave their pod, using their decades of experience to teach all the younger ones the best places to find food. And in true grandmother fashion, the killer whales that grow up around this granny orca have a better chance of surviving and having kids of their own. And since the oldest orca was allegedly as old as the Titanic, they can even end up raising their great-grandchildren. By being that old head that we all need in our lives, the grandma sea panda makes sure that her genes keep getting passed down to the next generation by looking after her grandchildren. This grandmother effect is because female orcas that don't have their own children to worry about have more time to focus on teaching and looking after their grandkids. Moral of this video: orcas are homicidal equality symbols that are the biggest bullies in the ocean. But they're also the biggest grandmama's boys on the planet. That is the most wholesome thing I can ever say about them.
Really? I never knew that about orcas.
Sit. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
What is that?
Dia masuk dalam kolam ni. Dia masuk dalam kolam. Dia masuk dalam kolam.
Looked like it was a torch or something. I don't know if somebody was in there following him.
These inmates conceived a baby in their jail cells by transferring his fluids, if you know what I mean, through the AC vent. I'm still shocked at the fact that this actually worked, but if you want to know the full details of this case, go to my YouTube channel. I just uploaded a video on it. In 2022, Daisy Lake was arrested and charged for her boyfriend's And in that same year, Joanne DePaz was also arrested and charged for murder. While they spent time in jail, they got to know each other by talking through the AC vents in their cells. For those who did not know this, inmates are actually able to communicate with each other through their AC vents in their cells. So what they do is they stand on top of their toilets and knock on their AC vents and communicate with other people in different levels of the facility. With that being said, their cells were connected and they got to know each other, build this relationship, and ended up having a baby. Let's just say that these two never touched each other, never met in person, they didn't even know what they looked like. You're probably wondering, how the hell did this happen? Well, Juan came up with this crazy plan to transfer his body fluids to his jail girlfriend through the AC vent. The process of actually getting this done was crazy, but they were successful and they had a baby girl. Now, Juan and Daisy are so proud of what they did. You can go check out their interviews on my video. They love the attention. But what really upsets me is how selfish these two are, because let's not forget, they're in there for murder. So they're going to be in prison for a very long time, if not forever. And now this little girl has to potentially grow up without not just one, but both of her parents.
I passed away trying to put
Something I
a
didn't
TV
think
in my
about before.
stomach. My name is Poe. I am one of the Teletubbies. Before all the sunshine and happiness, there was darkness and loneliness. We were 4 children, stuck living in a Bulgarian mental facility they called La La Land, where psychotic children were secretly being experimented on. They isolated the 4 of us into our own dark rooms. La La, the yellow Teletubby, was a child with a facial disfigurement, making her face stuck in a smile. Dipsy, the green tabby, was a malnourished child that was constantly sick. Tinky Winky, the purple tabby, was a deaf child who got tied to a fence and suffered frostbite. And me, Ho, I fell into a fire when I was young. Our only source of comfort in our facility was the little television in our rooms. But as part of an experiment, they told us they were going to take them away. We couldn't bear losing them, so we came up with the idea to try and hide them in our stomach. But they were too big to swallow.
Just when I thought I heard about all the worst cults in history, this one had to come and blow them out of the water. This is Colonia Dignidad. They were a German torture cult hiding out in the Chilean wilderness after World War II, aka Yazis. And to show you how terrible they were, let me tell you a story. That's a quick reminder, if you want more info, you can check out the podcast. The leader of this cult was a known child abuser, and he wanted more Chilean boys to be brought to him. So he started a hospital in the community and used it as a trafficking system to get more children. One day, a young Chilean boy choked and was rushed to the hospital. And right when he got there, a nurse scooped him up, brought him to a room, and saved his life. But later that day, his sister arrived and asked a nurse when she could pick him up to take him home. And the nurse responded that they needed to monitor him for a few more days, which is pretty suspect in a choking case. So a few days later, she comes back and she's like, okay, can I get my brother? And the nurse tells her that he's not there anymore. And this is because the hospital had lawyers on staff that were drafting up adoption paperwork when young boys would come in. The cult was able to legally adopt boys in the community without the parents' consent, and the parents had not enough money to do anything about it. There are so many more stories about this place, and I had never heard of it before, so make sure you check out this week's episode for more info.
Horror movie
Why is that even
facts
allowed?
will haunt your nightmares. Part 2, Coraline. The soundtrack in the movie is a French children choir singing. Surprisingly, they aren't actually singing in French. They're singing in a completely made-up language. If you look on the wall of the dining room in the other mother's home, you'll see 3 portraits of silhouettes. These likely represent the 3 ghost children that appear later in the film. In the normal world, the boy is sad and has dropped his ice cream. But in the other world, he's happy and his ice cream is perfect. On the back of the chair above where Coraline's doll sits features a small flower-shaped pattern. And this flower is almost exactly like the one on the back of Jack Torrance's chair in The Shining. The Welcome Home cake features a double loop on the O. And according to Graphology, a double loop on the lowercase o means that the person who wrote it is not telling the truth. But on the cake, there is actually only one double loop, meaning that Coraline is welcome, but she is not home.
School. Tracy Edwards, who escaped from Jeffrey Dahmer and guided the police to his apartment, was later arrested for a homicide 20 years after that happened. In preparation of the German invasion, England removed over 50,000 signs preparing for World War II within just 4 days. 2025 marked only the 50th anniversary that a woman could sign her name on a mortgage by herself. Before this, it was required for a man to be a co-signer. These are a couple of predictions that were made by publications in the 1960s about what work was going to be like in the year 2000. The machines will be producing so much that everyone in the US will, in effect, be independently wealthy. Even non-working families will have an annual income of $30,000 to $40,000 or $300,000 to $400,000. Man, I'm actually speechless. By the year 2000, people will work no more than 4 days a week and less than 8 hours a day. With legal holidays and long vacations, this could result in an annual working period of 147 days and a total of 218 days off. Where did we go wrong, y'all? Wow.
Would you believe me if I told you Amazon's prices and sales are actually fake?
Amazon prices are fake, the sales are fake. It's all based on an algorithm to get you to spend as much money as possible. Just watch. This is Vermont cheese. I have purchased it before, so Amazon knows that I like it, and Amazon knows I prefer to buy things on sale. So what do? They tell me that the price of $3.98 is 31% off to entice me to buy it. Now, when I go on a different person's account, a family member, it says $3.98 with no sale. And this account has never purchased the item. So Amazon is just giving the normal price. But for me, it lies to me and says that the normal.
All these companies, Amazon included, just want to squeeze every penny they can from the consumer. And we're all consumers. No one's safe from these big corporations and their greed. These companies are deploying unethical tactics to get you to spend your money at any cost. As always, thank you for watching. Till next time, stay weird.
It's basically like how people talk about Black Friday, man. How the sales, how they don't hit no more, bro. They be like, all this, the big TVs and crap is on sale. And then don't you be seeing videos of people be like taking out the prices and it's the same thing, but they saying, oh, like it's this mega sale. It's really not. It's just something they use on your mind to trick you. If an item says it's on sale, it's like, I have to have it. But it's really not.
The next video that I'm about to share with you is one of the craziest videos that I've seen in a long time. Allegedly, a family dog ran away and spent the night in the woods. The dog returned home, but upon returning home, every time the owners tell the dog that they're going to leave, the dog makes a demonic-looking face. You heard what I said. The dog makes a demonic-looking face. If you haven't seen the viral video, viewer discretion is advised. This is pretty scary. Take a look at this. Check this out.
Luna does not like when I go to work.
What's the matter? What kind of sounds are those? Look at the eyes.
I see it.
I don't know about you, but what is going on with this dog? What did this dog encounter in the woods? Many people that have watched the video are claiming that the dog is probably possessed by something it encountered in these woods. And others are claiming that the dog may just need an exorcism. No matter how you look at it, something is definitely going on with that dog. What do you think it could be? Do you think it's just a show of affection toward the owner?
No.
Or did something happen to this animal when it went in the woods?
Bingo.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
This man just said that CERN has a room in it with a portal that is used to talk to beings from 3i Atlas. And these beings are about to visit Earth to collect what they call star seeds. I'm not kidding, y'all, watch this.
I spoke to an astrophysicist who worked at CERN, and she opened up to what she experienced there. She saw and what she heard, and the content of that was at CERN, they used their collider to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings.
Wow.
And one of them are the occupants from 3i Atlas, a mothership with occupants on board, and they were mostly Draco reptilian occupants.
Okay. And that was corroborated by other remote viewers seeing the same thing.
That's correct. Yes.
The ship and Draco.
That's correct.
This man literally said that we are cooperating with the aliens and helping them with whatever mission they're trying to complete. And the only question we got left is, what the hell is a star seed? We all might be genuinely cooked as a human race, y'all.
So y'all remember the prophet Ebo Noah from Ghana who claimed that today, December 25th, the world would end by flood.
Yep.
And he built an ark in Ghana and told people that they can come aboard if they pay him for starters, which is crazy. He just was spotted buying a $89,000 Mercedes-Benz. And I'm just blown away because I told y'all, okay? One, God was not going to flood the earth again. He made a promise with us, which was a rainbow. But it's also just insane that people actually believed him and actually gave him money. This is wild to me. Mind you, I think he said something along the lines like, if it doesn't happen on the 25th, he's going to denounce himself as a false prophet or whatever. But dude, like, y'all should have started writing on the wall to begin with. Any prophet who goes against the word of God clearly is not a prophet. I told y'all that before. And so, yes, the day is still going, right? It's still December 25th. But while it may still be a little early, our time, December 25th, in Ghana, it's almost pushing December 26th, and nothing has taken place. And this is why I tell y'all, be careful who you listen to and those who call themselves prophets, because a prophet wouldn't be going to use your money on a Mercedes. Well, there's some people who do that, but a prophet who claimed the end of the, why would you even need a Mercedes if the world is ending on December? Think about that logic. Why would you go and buy a Mercedes if the world is ending today? How you going to drive it? After the flood? Like, how you going to drive it again?
Logic.
Should have bought a boat.
UPS.
Bro, you need to leave these false prophets in 2025, man. We got the rapture. They said it was going to happen. Didn't happen. He said they was going to flood the earth again. That didn't happen. I didn't even know he was charging people if you can get on the ark. I heard about that story, man, but I didn't even know he was charging people. But the fact that he bought a Mercedes-Benz, bro, he wasn't even believing in himself. He just did it for the money, man. And people fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker, bro. Like he said, these false prophets, bro. Don't put your faith in these men, man. Just don't.
Murders in Minnesota is just so crazy to me. Like, 3 guys broke into the house, killed the mother, killed the father, and then killed the older brother. So there's just like 2 babies left. And it was just a remorseless killing. And at the end of the footage, the mother's asking, "Where are my babies?" as she like dies. Usually, you know, those surveillance footage stuff, it doesn't bother me as much. I feel like we're all pretty desensitized nowadays. But that one, it just bothered me so much. It's all I can think about was that footage and how horrible it was. And they found one of the guys on here on TikTok. His last name was like Blast or something like that. And he's praying on Facebook. He's just like, you know, free me. Like, I'm sorry for killing that family. Like, no, bro. You and your boys are getting life in jail. Like, nobody is coming to free any of those people. All 3 of them deserve life in jail. No chance of parole. Put that trial on. I want them in there by next week. Believe it or not, this crime happened a year ago, and the reason it's resurfacing is because a never before seen like surveillance footage was dropped on it. That's the footage we all saw. Now, one of the guys, he got convicted. He is going to life in prison. They found the other 3rd guy who I was talking about. So there's 2 out of 3 that are still out there.
Yo, so I'm in here about to make some Salisbury steak, right? The meat is, I dethawed the meat or whatever.
Okay.
And there's some parts that's still a little frozen, so I'm in here breaking it up. Why is it making this sound? Listen.
What is that?
How is that?
Bro.
That ain't no steak.
Was that steak breathing? Because it sounded like it was out of breath. Now, to be honest with you, that didn't look like steak to me. That looked like cat food. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for insane purpose, and I don't know what the hell is going on out here, guys. But you see what this lady's talking about. Shut up! Listen, do I really have to tell you what to do? You should know what to do by now, guys. Something's going on out here with this type of stuff. There's a lot of people talking about the meat. Something seems to be off. Because when you think about it, how many cows are there? Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game on you guys. You know what time it is. Shut up! But I tell you one thing. If I ever make a pack of steak, and I start pressing down on it to try to, you know, ground it or grind it, and it starts whistling, oh, no.
Yellow.
This is not a conspiracy. This is scary. So in 2018, scientists discovered a black hole really, really far. Like, I want to say it was like 16 million light years away. Something crazy. Wow. Super far from us. They're watching it literally swallow a star. Ooh. It was sucking a star in.
Did it move or the star move?
The star was getting sucked into this black, like, so it was just like light streams going into this black hole.
Where is it going?
Listen to this. What they thought they knew of black holes, well, they don't know a lot. Stuff gets sucked into it because it's just this mad force of gravitational pull that just sucks everything in.
Yeah.
But this year, they looked at the same black hole and it was spitting the star back out. Like, so light and stuff was coming out of this black hole. Like, so it was like regurgitating this star.
Just recycling it.
Like broken apart though. So it's like, what's on the other side? Yeah.
Oh, I thought a star was just a ball of gas.
It is. But light and stuff was coming out of it. So it was like, it sucked the star in with the light, fire, all that, whatever a star is. It was spitting it straight back out.
That's
3 years later.
Y'all, this shit right here is crazy. And I don't think enough people talk about this shit. So I'm hearing your Wi-Fi is not just giving you internet no more. It's also tracking your movement. It's reading your body. And even in some cases, it's tracking your heartbeat and your breathing. We're not talking about a camera. We're not talking about your phone that's in your pocket. We're just talking about the Wi-Fi bouncing off your body. The signals. Think about that for a second. Every time you walk in a room, your body distorts a Wi-Fi signal. And these distortions can be analyzed. Are y'all keeping up? That means the system can tell if someone is present in that room, where they're standing, how they're breathing, everything. That should sound like something off a sci-fi movie. Researchers say that your body creates a Wi-Fi signature. A Wi-Fi signature. So essentially, it's like a fingerprint. So that means the signal pattern that's for you doesn't look the same from somebody else. So technically, the Wi-Fi doesn't need to see you. It just needs to feel you. Y'all don't hear how crazy this shit is? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. Have you ever heard about this before? Or is this new to you? And as always, you already know, I drop shit every day. So if you want to stay updated on everything news, hit that follow.
It's new info to me, man. That's why I follow those clips, bro. You always be putting me on the new information. That's crazy, but the fact that Wi-Fi can sense you through the walls, I don't like that, man. Somebody could take that and expand upon on that, bro, and run with it, and that can have some bad purposes. We might have to leave Wi-Fi brand a big 2025, bro. Man, we gotta leave everything in 2025, bro.
2026 might not be our glory year after all, because standing airline seats might be dropping next year. It's reported that several low-cost airlines across Europe are considering swapping out some economy class seats for these new prototypes known as the Skyrider 2.0. Passengers would sit at a 45-degree angle with shame and are positioned upright so the airline can fit more seats closer together. By doing this, it can increase passenger capacity by 20%. They're 50% lighter, so that'll cut down on fuel costs, and they have less components, meaning they'll cut down the price of maintenance too. Now, the PR version as to why they would do this to us is that all of this saving on money would allow them to charge you less for your ticket. So keep that in mind when you hobble off that plane and your cheeks feel like they've just been to a Diddy party. You'll be happy to hear, though, that these seats do actually adhere to global safety regulations and will be confined only to specific flights, most likely ones that are less than 2 hours. But if you look at a seat and have to question whether it's legal, it probably shouldn't be. The question is, would you be willing to endure the discomfort with the promise of a better price or not?
Every time I go down that Bayside Miami Mall rabbit hole, that shit scares the hell out of me. Because how is it that you can Google, you can search, you can ask ChatGPT what happened and nobody can tell you what happened? It's like whoever wiped this shit clean, wiped the whole internet clean. And for those of you that don't remember what happened, Bayside Miami Mall, people said they seen large figures, 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet tall figures in this mall that came through a portal. Police was called. It was a whole lot of police there, mind you. But when the reports come out, they're saying that they came to the mall because of teenagers fighting. If you look at the footage of this shit, the footage that's still there, you'll see all of these damn police cars. Why would you send that many police cars just for teenagers fighting? Okay, went down a few rabbit holes. Videos that were up of people saying what they really seen are gone. So you telling me that people just made all this shit up? That's what you telling me? How the fuck is it possible for all this information to come out at one time? Videos, etc., etc., etc. And I'm gonna say this is for entertainment purposes only. But there was videos on all platforms saying what these people saw. Now these videos are gone. I guess I'm the one tripping, right? Teenagers fighting does not mandate a whole police station to come to Bayside Miami Mall. And if you don't believe any of this, go down the rabbit hole. I've made videos about this before. I'm still confused. I just do not understand how this shit happened and we know nothing about it.
Has anyone thought about how weird it is that for our entire childhood, a bunch of old men would come to our school and take pictures of all of us every year? Obviously, school photos, picture day, and the companies they worked for now own a historical record of your face. As early as 4 years old, every single year until you turned 18. But who owns all this data and what could they possibly do with it? Oh wait, did I say companies? I meant company, as just one company does nearly half of all school photos in the US and owns about 25% of the global market share of school photography. That company is Lifetouch, who was purchased by Shutterfly in 2018 for $825 million. Around the same time, facial recognition software was becoming more widespread. Just a year later in 2019, Shutterfly is bought by Apollo Global Management for $2.7 billion, a publicly traded investment firm owned by, get ready for this, Vanguard and BlackRock, their top two institutional shareholders. The two mega companies that own everything also own photos of your entire childhood. But it just keeps getting worse. BlackRock and Vanguard are also the top shareholders of globalist companies like Palantir, that was founded by this guy, Peter Thiel, whose name spells the reptile if you mix around the letters, which is a funny little anagram, but that's a story for another time. Let's focus here. Peter Thiel is the founder of PayPal, a mega venture capitalist mogul sticking his dick in absolutely every globalist opportunity he can find. Like this one, Clearview AI, a facial recognition company that he was the primary investor of. A controversial company that has been sued many times for illegal scraping of facial data to build their AI's learning database. Lawsuits that resolved in settlements, meaning they basically admitted fault and paid out a bunch of money for illegal use of facial images without consent, who are part of the corporate ecosystem who have pictures of you from every year of your childhood. To be fair, maybe this whole connection is a bit of a stretch, but in the end, it really is one big company that runs everything. Using your childhood photos to train a facial recognition deep learning database to eventually establish a global mass surveillance state that is constantly watching your every move from the second you enter this world until they take you out. That's who took your school photos. Have a good day.
That was scary, bro. The fact that those companies had that much power, man. And I remember Lifetouch, bro. Those, the little school photos you always used to have to shoot. I really didn't think about it until he just presented all the information now. Like, what did they do with all those photos? So they just feed into an AI system, man. They getting rich off us, the kids. The fact that they like sold their company twice, bro, every single time before their big AI boom too.
Your soul to get the Mercedes? What? Yeah, I don't know if you ever see this Mercedes ad.
Nice car. Sure is. Make a deal with me, kid. You can have the car and everything that goes along with it.
You know William Dafoe? Green Goblin. Yeah. So in the commercial, he played the devil. It starts off with a normal ass guy at a table. And then William Dafoe is like, sign this deal with me, you'll get the car and even more. He's about to sign it. It's like a flashback. He's in the car, all these girls, he's on all these magazines. It pans to William Dafoe's hand when he's gonna sign it. It's a Freemason ring on it. Let me see. Oh my god. Yo, he's so good at playing that. Yeah. Freemason ring. He looks in the billboard, Mercedes, and then look, disappears.
Thanks. But I think I got this.
Set your soul free. The Mercedes-Benz CLA, starting under $30,000.
He had a massive update on the 340-pound mom that sat on her child until he was deceased. And this gets insane. So not only did the mom sit on her son because he was acting up, and not only was this caught on Ring doorbell, but this is the part where it gets more sadder. And I'm sorry that I'm going to have to show you this. They said that the mother was on top of the child for around 5 minutes. And in the Ring camera video, at one point you can see she's asking him if he's faking it, and saw that his eyelids were pale. She said, I was laying on him because he was acting bad. But when cops arrived, Dakota had no breathing and no pulse. And this is the part that makes me sick. Before the fatal encounter, Dakota went to a neighbor's house and pleaded with her to adopt him because he said his parents would blank him in the face. And remember, she is 340 pounds and he was 90 pounds. Dakota's arms were above his head in the video, and police say he does not move for the entire 6 minutes and 48 seconds. Now this is all alleged, and her only punishment so far is that her foster license has been revoked.
First real flying
Sad.
motorbike just lifted off, and it's not a concept, it's flying right now. This is the Jetson 1, a single-seat electric aircraft with 8 motors that can hit 63 miles per hour with a 20-minute flight time. And the wildest part is you don't need a pilot's license to fly it because it's classified as an ultralight aircraft. What you're seeing in this footage is real flight over rural terrain, with first-person POV from the pilot's helmet camera showing the actual controls and flight experience. This isn't CGI or edited content. It costs $92,000, which is expensive but comparable to a luxury car, making personal flight accessible to more than just the ultra-wealthy for the first time in history. The vehicle has multiple safety features, including a ballistic parachute that deploys if anything fails, triple redundancy so it can lose several motors and still fly, and computer-assisted flight control that makes it manageable for beginners. This validates electric aviation as viable, since the battery and motor technology is now powerful enough for practical flight, and it proves the regulatory pathway exists because it's legal to operate under existing ultralight rules in the US. This is the beginning of personal aviation becoming mainstream. Similar to how the Wright brothers' first flight was crude but revolutionary, and it opens the door for urban air mobility, air taxis, and completely reimagining transportation. The limitations are real though. 20 minutes of flight time is very short and can only fly in good weather during daylight. It's loud, and at scale, there are massive questions about airspace management, safety, noise pollution, and whether current regulations will hold. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and comment below. Follow for more stories like this.
So I think I just found where Colorado snow went, y'all. So explain this to me. Tell me why Saudi Arabia is getting hit with snow, and then it turns into hell, and then now it's still snowing out there, y'all. This is not a movie, man. These boys literally playing out in the snow like people in Colorado supposed to be doing right now. Look at this. And then in different parts of Saudi Arabia, it was completely covered in snow. Like, this is supposed to be a desert, man. And look at them. They even get together and treat it like it's a winter getaway, and they start clapping and chanting, y'all. So this is a very rare event. So Colorado, this is where your snow is going.
Yep.
California, Utah, look at them. It's like they've never skied before. Look at that, y'all. Y'all, what y'all gonna do about y'all snow? It's in Saudi Arabia. Look at this. They camp out in it, y'all. This is how rare it is. And I don't watch mainstream meteorologists. I watch the ones on YouTube that be telling the truth. And they say these things are going to get a lot worse, y'all. This is only the beginning because this never used to happen in the desert. But let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. The ship is here.
Could save your life. Part 9. Condoms are useful for a number of reasons. But if you need a quick way to store liquid, they can actually hold up to a gallon of water, plus they're waterproof, so you can safely store things like matches, electronics, and pretty much anything that shouldn't get wet. If you ever find yourself being dragged underwater by an alligator, shove your fingers into its nose. This breaks the seal alligators need to keep water out of their airways and will make them release you immediately. Each railroad crossing has a number on it. So if your car ever gets stuck on a train track, call 911, give them this number, and they'll notify the oncoming trains to stop. Truck drivers often receive information about dangerous weather, hazards, and accidents before other drivers do, so if you ever see one pulled over or driving differently, it may be a sign that danger is ahead.
Let's talk about the Wendigo.
Store those
The Wendigo is
facts.
said to be a supernatural evil being in North America. They have a hunger that can't be satisfied, so they eat whatever and whoever they want. And just like skinwalkers, they can imitate hurt humans in need of help in order to get you to come to their rescue.
Whoa. Wendigo sighting?
Sounds like he was eating some spicy booty. Clearly they don't do a good job at imitating us. Some people even have videos of them in the forest.
He said deuces.
I got something screaming down there. I don't know what this is, man. Something screaming down there, man.
Just
stop. Wendigo, more like when to go, because that's exactly how I scream in the bathroom after eating Taco Bell.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And look at this video of one in a cave.
That might be an edit. Might have to call cap on that.
There's 3 ways to defeat them: setting them on fire, stabbing it through the heart with a silver knife or bullet, or just not go near one if you hear them screaming. Stay home. There is nothing good outside.
Things you never knew the purpose of.
He was spitting.
Small buttons on jeans are called rivets, and they're placed in the places with the most wear and tear to prevent your pants from ripping. The tiny pocket on jeans is supposed to hold a pocket watch. It's a design from the 1800s.
Whoa.
The bottom line of a solo cup is roughly about 1 shot. The second line is for wine, and the third line is for beer. The neck shape of a beer bottle is designed to incentivize you to hold it from there so that you don't warm your beer before you finish it. These static wicks on an airplane exist in order to reduce the chances of the plane being struck by lightning. The arrow on the gas gauge for your car points in the direction of which side the gas tank is on your car. These orange balls only exist to help make power lines more visible to low-flying aircraft. The dimpled ridges on a golf ball help reduce the drag when it's flying through the air, making it go further and faster.
The more you know, man. We learning.
Embarrassingly dumb ways people passed away. Part 4. In 1997, a 25-year-old Brazilian cyclist named Marcelo was riding his bike through an airfield in Sao Paulo while listening to music. Not paying attention to his surroundings, he ended up coming into contact with the propeller of a landing plane, ending his life immediately and damaging the wings and blades of the plane. Next, in 2008, a biology teacher from Bulgaria was driving with 2 friends and decided to randomly pull over and begin dumping leftover jars of chemicals into a manhole. These chemicals included highly flammable liquids, and when they came in contact with the sewage, they caused a powerful explosion that sent the manhole cover flying, decapitating the teacher. In 1999 in Cambodia, 3 friends were at a bar drinking. They began arguing until one of them got out of their seats and pulled out a 25-year-old anti-tank mine that he found in his backyard. He then set it under the table and came up with the idea to drink while stomping on the mine. Everyone in the restaurant evacuated quickly, minutes before one of the men accidentally set the mine off. And in 2016, a pastor from Zimbabwe made a promise to walk into a river and then rise above the water, and this excited many of his followers. After fasting for a week, he went to fulfill his promise at Crocodile River, only to be devoured by crocodiles before he could even attempt to perform this miracle.
Why would he, if he's gonna try to walk on water, why would he do it at a crocodile river? The name is literally in the Crocodile River. That's the place you wanted to test it out at. People, man, they do some of the most bizarre things. You really just can't explain it.
This is why you shouldn't drink tap water.
I don't drink tap. You have to stay away from that. What we about to see, bro? No. What the hell is that? Organisms, man, our eyes are so small that we can't even see.
We're always told to drink a lot of water throughout the day, but have you ever wondered what happens when you drink too much water? Well, 35-year-old Ashley Summers drank 64 ounces of water in a span of 20 minutes and passed away from water toxicity. Ashley, her husband, and 2 daughters were at Lake Freeman in Indiana when she began feeling dehydrated. So she drank 4 bottles of water because for some reason she wasn't able to quench her thirst. Ashley complained about having a horrible headache and she began to feel lightheaded. When she got home with her family, she passed out in the garage and she was taken to the hospital where the doctor said she had brain swelling. Ashley never woke up and she was pronounced dead from water toxicity. A toxicologist said that this is more likely to happen to someone who's extremely dehydrated, which will cause them to drink too much water and not enough sodium or electrolytes. So remember, bring more than just water on really hot days, especially if you're under the sun for a long period of time.
This 98-year-old
Man, what the hell? She from too much water. That's like one of the first times I've ever heard something like that, man. I guess when you get, like you said, when you get dehydrated, you gotta bring something other than water, because if you just down a whole bunch of water, I guess your system can't take it all in, especially when you're dehydrated. So keep that in mind.
Year-old woman had her life ended in a snuff film. Margaret Douglas was a woman who lived in Ohio, and even at 98 years old, she lived by herself and was described by her family as being fiercely independent and healthy. Margaret told her family that the thing she was most excited about was being able to reach the age of 100 in just 2 short years, but sadly, her life would be brutally ended before she got to that point. In April of 2018, Margaret's partially nude body would be found stuffed inside of her bedroom closet, having been strangled to death. Margaret's 17-year-old neighbor, Gavin Ramsey, would eventually be brought in for questioning after several concerning videos and photos were found on his cell phone. The videos depict Gavin breaking into Margaret's home and then filming her while she slept on the couch for several minutes. After several minutes of watching her sleep, Gavin would jump on top of Margaret and proceed to strangle her to death. Afterwards, the video and photos would depict Gavin masturbating over top of Margaret's dead body before using her hands to masturbate himself. When asked why he did it, Gavin simply stated that he wanted to know what it felt like to take another human's life. He was quickly found guilty and is currently serving life in prison.
By the end of this video, you're not going to be able to look at this photo the same way. This photo looks completely innocent, a middle-aged man reading to a bunch of kids. But this man is Paul Schaefer, and he's the leader of one of the worst cults you've probably never heard of. Paul was a Nazi during World War II, and after the war, he fled to Chile to basically start his own prison camp. I talk about it more in this week's podcast episode, but he brought a bunch of other Germans to Chile under the guise of "let's escape Germany." But once they were all there and he had them in the middle of nowhere, he started subjecting them to torture. And unfortunately, no one got it worse than the children in the camp. Upon arrival, kids were stripped from their parents, told they no longer had parents, and were beaten if they tried to talk to them. Pal also started a hospital in the area, which was just a way for him to abduct local Chilean boys. If a young boy went in for a checkup, he would have the nurses sign adoption paperwork and he wouldn't return the boys to their families. And this is all because Powell was an abuser of the worst kind, and he did all this to create a society where he basically had unfettered access to young boys. And eventually, he turned his cult into a death camp. There are over 600 people who went missing at this camp, and most of them are local Chileans. Anyways, this whole story is so wild, and I encourage you to listen to the whole thing in this week's episode.
Sounds like a wild episode, man. Signing over kid.
Weird War Facts, Part 5. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the US government issued Mickey Mouse gas masks in case of a chemical attack. The incentive was to make them appear less scary to kids, but most people don't think it worked. An atomic bomb cameraman accidentally ripped off his safety goggles a few seconds before the bomb exploded. He immediately covered his eyes with his hands, and when the bomb detonated, he saw the bones of his hands through his closed eyelids just like an X-ray. When the Soviet Union was pushing towards Berlin during World War II, a Nazi SS soldier was forced to play piano for his captors. They made it clear to him in sign language that he would be executed the moment he stopped playing. He played for 22 straight hours, after which he collapsed in tears. They congratulated him.
This baby was found after being missing for 51 years, y'all. This baby's name was baby Melissa, and she went missing when she was 21 months old. And her parents needed to find a babysitter so that they can go to work and be able to make money. Now, this happened back in 1971. Like I said, she was 21 months old. And her mother looked in the newspaper for a babysitter, and she found one. Now, this babysitter allegedly got baby Melissa, and after her mom got off work, she was gone. And she has been missing for 51 years. 51 years. And she gave her a whole new name, a whole new identity. It raised her under the pretenses that she was her child instead of telling her real identity. Fast forward 51 years later, she has been found, and I mean, obviously her birth parents are no longer living, but the fact that she has been found after that long is absolutely fascinating and really tells you how a lot of these missing persons cases that they might still be alive.
Here's the most
Never know.
unsolved mysteries with the most chilling phone call, part 1. Trigger warning, all of these stories you're about to see are real and documented, and every single one of these are still unsolved to this day. For our first story tonight, there's this young girl named Antoinette. On April 6, 1986, her and her sister were up at 3 a.m. at the house. At just 9 years old, they heard a knock on the door. She said, "Who is it?" And this man said, "Uncle Joe, please let me in, it's cold out here." According to her sister's reports, as soon as Antoinette opened the door, 2 men grabbed her and put her in a brown van. Here's where everything gets super creepy. Her sister said that she kicked and screamed all the way to the van. 1 year later, the police received this phone call, and what you're about to hear literally gives me chills.
I'm Antoinette Garibito. Okay, whereabouts in Albuquerque? Hello? Antoinette, where are you?
Whoa.
And this is why you should never kiss a baby on the lips.
This is a result of somebody kissing her on the mouth. When parents say not to kiss their children, this is one of the reasons.
This is a recent photo of 8-year-old Brie Lynn. She was born healthy, but as a baby, she was kissed on the lips by someone who had a cold sore, and her life changed forever. So after this happened, she began having seizures and became extremely sick. And since as a baby, your immune system is not developed, the HSV infection attacked her brain and left her with a severe brain injury. Her mother explains that the left side of her brain is 60% damaged and the right side is 10% damaged. And because of this, Brie Lynn has never been able to walk or talk, and doctors don't even know how long she'll live. There was actually another child in the past who had the same thing happen to them, and they only lived until the age of 7. And here's the thing, many people can argue that they've kissed their baby and nothing like this has ever happened, but this is still very possible, especially if you have a contagious virus in your system. I mean, just to be safe, we should all avoid doing this.
Yeah, man. I mean, don't let random strangers. I guess I don't know if the person was random, but even I guess family friends don't even try to freaking kiss the baby because, like she said, the baby's immune system that's new, so they can't fend off diseases like we can. You may just think it's all sweet and innocent, but if the person tells you, man, don't kiss the baby, just as the baby, just follow what they're saying, man, because you never know what could happen. That's gonna make me way more cautious now. That's an edit. Call them out,
Really
man.
weird human body facts that I can guarantee you didn't know. Your penis has rifling. That's why the stream twists. Girls who are born at altitude reach puberty a lot faster than girls born at sea level. In some cases of brain surgery, they peel your face forward like a banana peel.
Wow, really?
Remember the Old Navy supermodels? They were mannequins that Old Navy came out with in 2008 during the recession. The mannequins had their own personalities and even relationships with each other. And they were to be treated like celebrities, and they even had social media profiles. Supermodelkins commercials were extremely fleshed out, and there was even drama between the modelkins. Like, they would gang up on each other. There was a little bit of a Mean Girls thing going on. The commercials for this campaign were like little short films about their lives. There was also a dog. There was even a Supermodelkin Super Search, which was a contest for someone to be the new identity basis for a Supermodelkin. Maggie won, and they literally turned her into a Supermodelkin. In 2011, the Supermodelkins retired in order to make way for Old Navy's new campaign. It was the Old Navy Records campaign and was in partnership with Shazam.
Crazy facts about things in our world. Mohammed is the most popular name worldwide. A teaspoon of a neutron star weighs 10 million tons. The Great Wall of China takes 18 months to walk. The human body is made up of 60% water.
Damn, so we water beings, man. What the hell?
Facts that will blow your mind. Humans are the only animals that enjoy spicy foods. Potato chips cause more weight gain than any other food.
Wow.
It's impossible to hum while you hold your nose. The least interesting day in history was April 11th, 1954. Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis died on the same day as JFK. Bigger forks lead you to eat less. The longest living insect is the termite. Chewing gum after a meal reduces heartburn. Dogs can smell cancer. Bees can detect bombs. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
Dogs and bees.
Chilling paranormal encounters caught on camera.
Oh my fucking god, I swear to god, this thing just fucking looked at me. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god.
You saw that? It moved, but it was slow.
You okay? What the hell? What the fuck is going on here? There ain't nobody there. Miss? Hello?
Ooh. Who the hell was crying in that
The
car?
reason I had to move out of my flat. I was home alone.
I saw that. Definitely saw a fish right there or something. And caught all those encounters on camera. Those are brave souls.
These are the most amazing animals in the world. Part 1. The ogre-faced spider can be found in the forests of Australia and Africa, and it's known for having the largest eyes on any species of spider. Their eyes can also absorb 15,000 times more photons than humans. They're able to hear their surroundings from the tiny hairs on their legs, and use it to create one big and one smaller web between their legs, and attract their prey with their waist and snag it. Next, the Watusi is a species of cattle that originated back in ancient Egypt. The biggest characteristic that helps them stand out is their massive horns. These horns can grow up to 8 feet in length, and some of them may never stop growing. The Watusi with the largest recorded horns was in 2004, with horns measuring 40 inches in width.
Damn.
And these horns don't just look awesome, but they function as air conditioners for the animal, because they can control their body temperature and send it out the horns. And finally, the flatfish. Their flat bodies allow them to blend into the ocean floor to easily hide themselves from predators, as well as help them catch their own prey. They're also extremely fast swimmers thanks to their underfin, which gives them an extra boost. These fish also start like any regular fish, with both their eyes on each side of their face. But within a few weeks, one of its eyes slowly migrates its way onto the other side of the face, which makes them look like this.
Flatfish, okay.
This guy could probably hear his ancestors because that's how close he was to meeting them. Let me say, if you ever see this in the water, you need to swim away immediately. Because this, my friends, is a blue dragon, otherwise known as a Glaucus atlanticus. This thing is literally designed to catch a body and then sleep like a baby afterwards. If there's anything I've learned about nature, and it's a little trick, is to never associate yourself with anything blue. Poison dart frog, blue, will fold you like a lawn chair. The blue Malaysian coral snake will fast track you to the afterlife. The blue-ringed octopus, which will give you your own headline. And of course the blue dragon. However, it's not actually a dragon, it's a slug. So unless you wanted to say killed via a slug on your tombstone, don't do what this fool's doing. These animals are commonly found on European, African, and of course Australian coasts. These creatures will literally steal other animals' venom to use it for themselves. They also produce a sting more painful than the Portuguese man of war, feeling like hot knives on your skin. Oh, lovely. Now send this video to a friend so they know not to go near it. You could literally save their life.
Creepy last words people said
Don't
right
touch that
before
slug.
dying. A nursing assistant said that she was in a long-term patient's room changing the sheets. The patient would periodically look behind her. She asked the patient what was wrong, and the patient looked in her eyes and asked, "He doesn't scare you?" The nurse was confused, and she asked her who she was referring to, and the patient said, "The big man in the top hat. He's standing right behind you." She said that she doesn't think that she has ever finished changing a bed sheet and repositioning a patient as fast as she did that night. She refused to go into that room by herself for the rest of her shift. Linda Johnson, a former nurse, said that she had a gentleman in his late 90s who was dying. He started screaming blood-curdling screams, so they raced to his room. He was screaming that the room was on fire and that there was a man with large horns peering out of the flames. He kept pointing to one wall, saying that it was on fire. The nurses turned on the lights and tried to calm and console him, but to no avail. Instead of being consoled, Linda said that he told her that she was on fire and that he could see her being consumed by flames. Linda said that it was the creepiest thing that has ever happened to her. The doctor was notified, but nothing relieved the patient's terrifying hallucinations. He died soon after. Cynthia said that several years ago, her 20-year-old daughter had brain surgery. She got an infection of the spinal fluid. She was there in grave condition for a month. Cynthia never left her daughter's side. One night, the worst night at this point, she asked who the man in black was that was standing by the bathroom, and why Cynthia's deceased brother, the girl's uncle, was standing next to her at the side of the bed. Cynthia immediately got the chills. She told her daughter, "They're not here." Then she told her brother and the man in the black, who whom she couldn't see. You both have to go now. She's not ready to go, and I'm not ready to let her go. After that night, her daughter started to get better and better each day. Today, her daughter is doing well.
Thanks to a deathbed confession, a nearly 24-year-old cold case was closed this week when the bodies of a missing girl and her mother were found. 10-year-old Natasha Alex Carter and her mother Susan disappeared from their home in Beckley, West Virginia in August 2000. At first, police initially reported that Alex may have been abducted by her mother. In a press release from December 2021 about the case, the FBI Pittsburgh said, quote, "At the time of their disappearance, Susan Carter and Alex's father were having a custody dispute, and Alex moved in with her mother and mother's new husband," which it's not confirmed that it was actually her mother's new husband, but they moved in, and then not long after that, Susan and Alex disappeared. But while it was initially suspected as a parental abduction by Susan, after the two remained missing, an investigation into other possibilities ensued, but unfortunately, the case went cold. In 2021, the FBI reopened the cold case and started looking into the man Susan and Alex were living with, Larry Webb. Searches of his home were done in 2022 and 2023, and they found a bullet embedded in the wall of what was Alex's bedroom. The bullet was tested for DNA, and it confirmed that blood on it belonged to Alex. In October 2023, Larry Webb was indicted on first-degree murder charges for Alex's death, despite Alex and Susan's bodies never being found. Due to his deteriorating health, though, Webb was not arrested until April 12, 2024, but since then he was being held without bond. On Monday, he had a medical episode, after which, in a, quote, come-to-Jesus moment on his deathbed, he confessed to authorities what he had done. Webb claimed that on August 8, 2000, he had gotten into an argument with Susan over money. He said he was missing some cash and believed that she had taken it and spent it. The argument escalated and he shot her, and then he ended up shooting Alex so there would be no witnesses. Webb then wrapped their bodies in bed linens and placed them in the basement that night. Over the next 2 nights, he dug a shallow grave in the woods on his property, eventually burying them in his clothes, and then walking free for the next 20 years. On April 22, 2024, Larry Webb died at Mount Olive Correctional Complex, and 6 hours later, Susan and Alex's remains were found at his property in Beckley. Unfortunately, now that Webb is dead, he cannot be charged in connection to their deaths. At least now they have been found and can be properly laid to rest. Alex's father, Rick Lafferty, said after the discovery, quote, "It's kind of a sad day, but also a happy day because I can bring my baby home." Rest in peace, Alex and Susan.
It's peace, man. I don't know what it is about people, man. It's like when they come to the end, that's when they decide, I guess, just to let the truth out, let it be revealed. But that was a sad case, man. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, make sure you guys comment down below. Hit that post notification bell, man. Follow me on all my social medias. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.